Spencer is awesome. Trust me. Again, I've known the guy since 2000. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Call 916-805-4868.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Grant's back, and here to win. It's the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Now, Grant Napear.
Hey, everybody. Tough day to do a sports show, but that's what we do, and that's what we will do. 3-hour show beginning right now. We also are debuting right now, streaming live on YouTube and X. So we are giving you more options. We have listened to you. We've been working hard to appease you, our great listeners, and there's a lot more to come. So thank you very much for joining us, whether you are listening via 104.7 FM, 890 AM, the website, the Fox Sports KSAC app, YouTube or X. Very happy to have you here. And again, we're going to be with you right up until 6 o'clock. My former co-host years ago, back, 2005 to maybe 2010, former starting left tackle at USC, and a good friend, Mike Lamb, is going to join me at 4 o'clock. And then coming up at 5 o'clock, Mike Pereira from the NFL on Fox, their rules analyst. So I'm very happy that Mike is going to be joining us here on this program. All right, so if you are a fan of the San Francisco 49ers, as your head coach, Kyle Shanahan, said today, quote, I think it's a long shot, referring to the quarterback, Brock Purdy, playing this week in New Orleans against the Saints. Matter of fact, he even said that he may miss a couple of starts. Not good. So it looks like Mac Jones is going to be the quarterback this weekend at the Bayou down in New Orleans. And it's interesting because if you go back to the draft that Brock Purdy was taken in, Mr. Irrelevant, the last player taken in the draft, if you remember, Trey Lance and Mac Jones were both in that draft. And the Niners moved up and they took Lance, and that was a mistake. And Jones went and played with New England. I mean, he does have experience. Obviously, now you're not going to have George Kittle. Your receiving core is banged up. And this is not ideal, knowing that you're going to miss Kittle for at least 4 games. And who knows, you may not have Brock Purdy for a while. This is not the way you wanted to start the season. It's kind of like a repeat with what we had last year with the San Francisco 49ers. So we'll talk about that. We open up the phone lines at 916-779-0929. Again, that is 916-779-0929. Interesting development in the NBA. So, shots that are taken at the end of quarters that are more than 36 feet in length with a play that begins in the backcourt, basically what we're talking about, buzzer beaters, they will now not count against a player's field goal percentage. Now, I want to go a step further with this, all right? This will be a new rule change. It's like the heave rule. So those long heaves will no longer impact an individual player's percentages. I'm fine with that. All right? I'm fine with that. Again, if the shot is taken within the final 3 seconds of the first three quarters and is launched from at least 36 feet away on any play that begins in the backcourt, it will be a team shot attempt, but not an individual one. Now, I've been saying this for years. I've always believed that the same rules should apply to quarterbacks with Hail Marys at the end of halves and at the end of games. Why should a Hail Mary that is very often intercepted count against a quarterback's touchdown to interception ratio? That has never made sense to me. Never made sense. You know, as a Giants fan, Eli Manning didn't care about touchdown to interception ratio at the end of halves and at the end of games. He didn't care, especially at the end of halves, where a lot of teams kneel on the ball and run to the locker room. He would always, not always, often throw the ball in a Hail Mary trying to create something before halftime, and very often it was intercepted. Like, I don't think that should count against a quarterback's touchdown to interception ratio. I never have. And so, you know, this NBA rule, the new rule, the heave rule, I'm like. I like. I think it's good. I think it's very good. All right. How often have we talked about this? All right. The impact of legalized sports gambling. The NCAA today announcing that after an investigation, a Fresno State men's basketball player, all right, after the investigation, found that Mikal Robinson manipulated his performance for gambling purposes and also conspired with San Jose State guard Steven Vasquez and Fresno State guard Jalen Weaver. They are now all three permanently ineligible due to gambling violations. They're not even enrolled in their schools, but that they placed bets, okay, on statistics. So what does that mean? Robinson and Vasquez were roommates at Fresno State during the 23-24 season, and they got together to wager on Robinson to underperform in a game on January 7th, 2025, between Fresno State and Colorado State. Nate Clifford, his school. 3 prop bets totaling $2,200, according to the investigation, were placed on the under on Robinson's statistics. And then a Nevada sportsbook flagged that. All right, the net one was $15,950. One of the bets was placed by Vasquez and a sportsbook trader. So what happened? Well, during the game, according to this investigation, Robinson altered his performance with 3 points scored, 2 rebounds, 1 3-pointer, and no assist to make sure that the underlying bets won. I ask you this. With technology the way it is, with cameras everywhere, with the algorithms at casinos, why does this continue to happen, number one? And number two, is it happening more often than we think, and there are individuals that have yet to be caught or won't be caught? Right? That's what you have to ask yourself. Because now when we hear these type of reports, whether it's in the NBA or, in this case, college basketball, Fresno State, like, why do we think this is not going on elsewhere? Why are we that naive to think that it's not happening? Does it happen in Major League Baseball? Is it happening in the NFL? Is it happening in I mean, you tell me. Now when these stories surface, we don't even react to them. We're like, oh, not surprised. What do you think about that? You think this is going on a lot more than we know at 916-779-0929? Rhino, we've talked about this a lot on our podcast. Do you believe that these acts of betting on games in which players are actually involved in? Oh, you can't hear me? All right, no problem. Well, I'll ask you then, the callers, the listeners.
Go ahead.
All right, you got me now? I can hear you.
Gotcha.
Do you think that these acts of athletes betting on their own games as it relates to particularly prop bets are going on more than we know?
I think prop bets, yeah. I think that's the problem. I think shaving points as we know it, or throwing a game, dropping passes on purpose, very, very rare, Grant, but the props are the problem.
And that's what these players are getting nailed for, prop bets. We saw it up in Toronto with Porter.
Grant, almost every NBA betting scandal has been over props.
Yeah.
That's why they're getting caught, because they're obscure amounts being bet on obscure props.
And you wonder, particularly in the pros, with the athletes making the type of money that they're making, why would they even mess with this? It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's everywhere, Grant. Everybody's doing it. It's that classic law. You can't do that. You can't do that. But everybody else is. How else do you explain it?
I don't know how else you explain it, but it's I guess once again, I'm not surprised by it anymore. Like when I see these type of stories, I don't go, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, I'm not surprised, I mean, were you surprised when you saw that today? You're the one, by the way, that brought it to my attention. Were you surprised?
No, not whatsoever. It's something that's going to be, unfortunately, occurrences we see almost every year. I think college will be a little bit more rare, Grant. The pros, though, that's where you worry about the integrity of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the NBA is right now conducting its own investigation. Again, we're talking about gambling allegations against Malik Beasley, who has been linked to a federal probe this offseason. And Adam Silver today said that the league is conducting their own investigation into this. Now, this is based, Rhino, on allegations of improper gambling on NBA games and, again, prop bets from the season 2 years ago, 23-24. Beasley at that time, Rhino, was on the Bucks. And now this is something that the league is looking at and going, okay. Adam Silver said, quote, I'll only say that the investigation is ongoing. As I understand it, there's still a federal investigation that's ongoing of Malik Beasley as well. We will address whatever is presented to us in the case. Now, Beasley's attorney made this statement that his client is, quote, fully cooperating, unquote, with the NBA investigation. We'll see what happens here, but this is still ongoing, and nothing surprises me anymore when I see these type of stories. And I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just saying I'm not surprised.
Yeah, Napes, Adam Silver, before the finals, I believe, when he had it was after the Board of Governors meeting, he was asked about the problems with gambling, and the NBA is definitely looking for a way that they may be able to control their IP and how it is bet on, and that was a specific target towards the prop bets.
Again, we are in a completely different era. I've talked about this, Rhino, a lot. When I used to go to the NBA broadcast meetings every year, this came up. And as announcers for the NBA, it was made very clear to us that we were not allowed to discuss anything as it related to gambling in any way, shape, or form, including even joking. Now, you brought up yesterday Al Michaels.
Right.
That would have been a big no-no. And not only that, we had to take an online course every year that the NBA sent to us as a league and broadcast employee of the Sacramento Kings. And we had to, basically it was an online course. And we had to sign our name at the end of it. And we were completely under no doubt. We knew that if we had violated what we just signed, it was grounds for termination. So what did that mean? I'll give you an example. I was on a bus about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, to an away game. And I had a friend ask me if so-and-so was playing because there had been a rumor that that individual might not play.
And was that a friend that calls you commonly, or is it
There's a good friend, but
okay.
And by the way, I've known that this individual gambles a lot.
All right.
Okay. And he asked me via text message if so-and-so was playing. And I said, I can't tell you that. I said, I'm sorry, I can't tell you that. And I put it right on in a text message. I said, could possibly lose my job if I told you that. And I will tell you that I talked to many announcers in the NBA about this. And they all told me the same thing. We were all completely in lockstep that it wasn't worth losing our job to tell a friend that so-and-so was or was not playing. Because I will tell you, there were a number of times that I would be on the team bus going to a game and found out on the bus that so-and-so had food poisoning or so-and-so had a family emergency or so-and-so, whatever, was not playing that night before anybody else knew it. Okay? I never said a word until it was officially announced by the team. And I will tell you, in my conversations with other of my friends announcing around the league, they told me the same thing. It's not worth losing your job over.
Well, and at that time too, Grant, think about how gambling came with the hammer if you were caught. Programs in the NCAA shut down. Immediate job dismissal. What's interesting, though, is the broadcast teams, or if you're watching the studio show before the game begins, almost every time they're not saying, hey, we're going to take this team plus the points. They're saying, I'm going to say Saquon Barkley for over 2 touchdowns. So it's what is being pushed largely to the betting community.
All right. Hey, want to tell you about DAS Mechanical. Do you need a maintenance check or an emergency repair on a heating or cooling unit? DAS Mechanical will take care of all of your heating, cooling, ventilation, and energy needs. They'll provide you with a full consultation to explain all of your available options so that, hey, you can choose the system that's right for your home or business. And get up to $6,000 in rebates and federal tax credits on qualifying equipment. Make sure you take advantage of the $2,000 federal tax credit before it's set to go away at the end of the year. DAS Mechanical also serves both residential and commercial clients, and they offer a variety of money-saving solutions. They've got tremendous financing available, all right? How about this? How about 0% interest for 18 months? Go to dasmechanical.org, family-owned and operated since 2018. You can schedule online. They serve Sacramento and Placer counties. They are an HVAC retrofit and service specialist. So they specialize in that. And they also, as I just said, do new systems where you can take advantage of your rebates. That's dasmechanical.org. D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org.
Skeeter here. Look around. What could possibly be wrong with this backyard?
Hi, I'm Luz Maria Robles. Backyards can be a breeding ground for mosquitoes. You'll find them in the smallest places like flower pots, bird baths, and old buckets.
Don't forget watering cans, dog bowls, and wheelbarrows.
That's right, Skeeter. Anything that collects water, even the stems of plants. So look around your backyard and always drain stagnant water.
That's how you fight the bite.
For more information, go to fightthebite.net and protect yourself from mosquitoes.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
In the fight against Alzheimer's, now is the moment we've been waiting for. With new treatments emerging in the fight against Alzheimer's and all other dementia, now is the time for hope.
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. If there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around. And I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never would just want to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
The 3-game set, and they win by the score of 5-4. I'll tell you a funny story here in a moment, but I want to get to Dorian. Dorian, welcome to the show.
What's going on, Greg? I got a quick
Dorian.
little call today. I want to share my thoughts about sports gambling. You know, I have a friend that I went to school with, and he's an amazing entrepreneur. And he's an anomaly, though. He's someone that really studies this. This is a career. I mean, he makes really a great living off of sports betting. But I think sports betting in general is a net negative for society and for sports. I mean, if you're altering your performance just to make some money, and it doesn't become about wins and losses anymore. I mean, not to mention in the day and age that we live in social media now, where people are commenting under players' photos like, "Oh, you messed up my under or my over," or "I'm going broke because of you." I think the microeconomics of this, right? I mean, from the situation with Fresno State and all the other parties involved, I get it. You're a student, you're trying to make some money. Maybe most people don't know this, but a lot of athletes aren't all scholarship. They're either walk-ons or they're getting, partial funding, or they just have a roster spot. So I get that from that aspect of it. And as far as the professional athletes that are gambling on themselves or gambling on games, I don't think. I think it's just a net negative for society, and the mental health aspect of it. I mean, like, there's just no reason for young people to be wasting their money on this, because I don't know. I think it just ruins the integrity of the game. I'll take this offline. Thanks, Grant.
Dorian, thank you very much. I mean, the one thing you want in sports, you want an even playing field, right? We want that as fans. If you gamble, you want to know that it's on the up and up, right? And sometimes right now when you see these stories, you don't know. It's funny, I'm reading a comment from somebody on our audience watching on YouTube, Ryan, and it said, I remember when Grant lied and said there would be no YouTube show for the 3 to 6 p.m. show. I didn't lie. What I was referring to was, and I probably phrased it inaccurately, is there would not be a camera with my ugly face for 3 hours. That's when I said there will be no YouTube, no video, I meant there would not be a camera on me, because I don't really like that. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
But now I'm being accused of lying. How about that?
Yeah, Bert Napear taught you to be polite to everybody. So
except for some of my idiot callers.
This is true. I have a story. We'll tell it later. But you know what is funny about the fan base, your listener base, your connected base? They keep receipts, Names.
Oh, of course. They absolutely do. Speaking of that, so yesterday I'm having lunch downtown, right? And the waiter, there's three of us, I find out is a fan of that team north of New York City.
Ah.
And, he's popping off, because the team beat the A's the previous two nights and they're only a game back of the Yankees and blah, blah, blah. So, we're talking about that. And I ordered a salad, okay, that had red onions in it. And I told the waiter, I go, no red onions. I go, when that team that you root for is in the same city as me, I don't have anything that's red. So no red onions. And he looked at me and he's like, are you serious? I go, yeah, I'm serious. No red onions. Because of the team that you root for, no red onions. He goes, okay, I got it. And he was giving me a hard time, and I was giving him a hard time. And it brought back a couple of memories. My youngest son, Chase, who's doing great in Nashville, he's the news producer of the 6 p.m. news at the ABC TV station in Nashville. When Chase was 6 years old, February, I go to sign him up for Little League, right? So I go and I fill out the paper, the registration and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was raining. And we get back in the car, and he's sitting in the back seat, again, 6 years old. And he goes, Daddy? And I said, yes, son. He said, what team am I going to be on? I said, we don't know yet. And then 15, 20 seconds go by. Daddy? Yeah, Chase? What happens if I'm on the Red Sox? And I look in the rearview mirror and I go, then you're not playing this year. Okay?
Pick a new sport, son.
Okay, but I mean, at 6 years old, he knew that would be a problem in our household. So he goes, Daddy, what happens if I'm on the Red Sox? And again, I look in the rearview mirror and I go, then you're not playing this year. And it was silent for like 30 seconds. And then he goes, Daddy? Yes, son? Are there trades in Little League? How about that, huh?
Pops, what's my value?
Yeah, right? Then my other son, I go to pick him up at high school one day, and it's pouring rain, right?
Yeah.
And he's got his good friend Chris with him, who's a big-time fan of that despicable team north of Manhattan. And it's not just raining a little bit. It's pouring rain. And Trent goes, Dad, can we drive Chris home? And he had that jersey on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. He's like, Dad, he needs a ride. And it's like pouring, and they're getting I go, tell him to take his shirt off. All right? And then I'm going to open up the trunk, and it has to go in the trunk. It cannot go inside the car. It's like, Dad, stop it. I'm like, tell him to take the shirt off. If he wants a ride, I'll give him a ride, and you put the shirt in the trunk.
Oh, my gosh, Nibs.
Then I had a service member, I can't remember if it was HVAC or whatever it was, come to my house, and he's got that same team's cap on.
Of course he does.
And he rings the doorbell, and I go, hey, how you doing? He goes, hey, I'm here to do it. I go, hey, you can't come in with that hat. He goes, what? I go, you can come into my house, and I'm happy to have you fix what I need, but you can't wear that hat in my house. It's not happening.
You ever had somebody push back on that? So they might take it as an icebreaker. You're trying to make a little joke. No.
It wasn't a joke.
No, I know.
No.
I know.
I'm not joking about this.
I know. Is that rivalry still today what it was when you grew up?
No, in my opinion, it's not the same after 9/11, which I will talk about tomorrow and never forget, because I believe, and I'll talk more about this tomorrow, this being September 10th. And if you go back to 2001 right now, and I wasn't planning on talking about this, but September 10th, 2001, so many people were just going about their lives the way they normally do, and the next day they didn't have a life. And I will share my memories tomorrow on everything that happened in 9/11 and how that affected the sports world, in addition to everything else. But to answer your question, I feel that the rivalry became less violent, if I can use that term, less hatred after 9/11. I always felt, and I was at many, many Yankee Boston games at Yankee Stadium, never at Fenway. And if you were a fan rooting for Boston, you were going to take a lot of verbal abuse. And if you tried to combat the fans, you would very often get beer thrown on you and other things, okay? Did fights happen? Yes, I saw fights. And it was like that rivalry between those two cities, I can't really explain it to you unless you live there and experience it. It is real. I'm not manufacturing this.
Well, and those cities aren't that far apart.
No, it's a 4-hour drive,
Right.
and you can get there on the train in 3 hours. No, it's not bad. But I felt that when I went to Yankee Stadium after 9/11, I don't mean like right after 9/11, I'm talking about in the ensuing years, that the tone of the rivalry from a fan's perspective in the stadium changed. Like I could feel it, I saw it, and that just like today, as I do this show, I'm just again reminded, not that I should have to have a reminder, of like how unimportant it is to be talking about whether Brock Purdy's going to play or not, or whether my Yankees are the team that I root for is a game in front or a game in back, when the news of the day is so despicable and so awful that me personally, and I've been doing this for a long time and I've had to navigate my way through a lot of things, it's just like, it's not easy to do a show on a day like this. Because again, what I'm talking about on the scale of 1 to 10 doesn't mean much, right?
Right.
So, but that's what I do, and that's why I'm getting paid, and that's why we have a job, and so I get that, and I try to do the best that I can. But I felt that after 9/11, that things changed. And tomorrow being 9/11, and I didn't plan on going here, there are so many stories. You know, the New York Giants played a game on September 10th, 2001, in Denver when they opened up the new stadium. And I've had Bob Papa, the radio announcer of the Giants, whose broadcast partner, Dick Lynch, his son, died in one of the towers on 9/11. But there were fans that worked in the trade centers that had gone to Denver for the game.
Wow.
And because the game was at night, they couldn't fly back until the morning, in which they never did fly back because they're
Grounded.
were grounded, but would have been in the towers. And one of those individuals wrote a letter to John Mara, the owner of the New York Giants, and said, your football team saved my life. Okay, and not only that, but the Meadowlands parking lot where the Giants played was a commuter lot on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You would park your car in the parking lot at Giant Stadium, and then you would get on a bus that had the carpool lane and get you right into the city, into the Port Authority. And days and weeks after, there were still many cars from the parking lot that had not been moved that were from individuals who perished on 9/11. And so, like, there were all kinds of stories, but the Giants story, there were also individuals that said because it was a night game and they had been up late and they went to work late that morning and weren't at the towers when the planes hit. So you think about it from just a sports perspective and how the football team that I have loved and root for all my life saved people's lives that day just because of the scheduling, and it was a night game. Isn't that amazing?
Probably complaining, too, that it was a late night game, too.
Yeah, so. Exactly. But,
it is incredible. I mean, fate is going to be fate. John Thompson, I believe, was supposed to be on one of the planes
That's
as
correct.
well.
And Bob Papa said that when their charter landed, they parked at the gate at Newark right next to Flight 93. And he didn't know it at the time, but he said he remembers walking by, and at that hour, there had been just only a few people in the waiting area at the gate. And then he said, when teams land after an all-night, they go to the training facility because they have to get treatment and everything else. And you could talk to all those. You can see Lower Manhattan from the Meadowlands, like as clear as day.
Yeah.
Like I remember leaving Giant Stadium where our section was, and when you walk out onto the concourse and then walk down the circular walkway instead of taking the escalator, you saw the trade towers. They were the Twin Towers. They were right there. It's like freaking 7 miles away.
Right.
All right. So anyway, I'll talk more about this tomorrow, but it's interesting that, and I don't even know how I got on this topic, but after 9/11, I always felt that the rivalry did not have the same bite to it. And by the way, I was in favor of that because it used to get carried away. Al, welcome to the show, Al.
Hey, Nate, I remember you. I was talking to you a couple of years ago, and you were mentioning your son, I think it was Chase, was going to go to Fenway Park to see the Yankees play. And I was laughing. I said, well, I bet if he's going to wear his colors, I bet you better be ready for some harassment. And you told me a couple of years back, oh, the very thing you're speaking to, oh, no, it's a totally different environment. And I know, even at Fenway, that it's not the hostility since 9/11. So that was
he went, and he said it wasn't bad at all. And it was my oldest son, Trent. But yes, good memory there. He wanted to go to a game at Fenway and was able to do it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I'm glad there's some common sense in this world in certain respects when it comes to that, because like you said, there's things bigger than
yeah,
sports.
and when you watch, like again, I'm watching the video of the fights at SoFi after the game after the Rams game on Sunday, with now women fighting and their faces all bloodied. And I mean, like, what is like? Again, I'm not going off on a tangent here, but I'm looking at the news of this week and the tragedy in this country and the senseless killings. And then I'm looking at violence in our stadiums. Like, what's wrong with people? I mean, forget about the. And again, I'm going to try to keep this to sports, and forgive me for going off the rails here. But like Al, how many times have we been at games? And I'm not talking about you and me together, but throughout our life. And I just cannot. I can't understand pushing someone down, hitting someone, and then when they're on the ground, going over and kicking them in the head and the abdomen, and having other people do the same thing at the sporting event. Like, what is wrong with people? Seriously.
You know what? That's not a true fan. And you said something a while back that really resonated with me. When I'm wearing my colors and I'm in another teams, like I go to see the Rams play the Niners, I'm like, I heard you say, maybe I'm wrong, but you might not yell or scream or, as much as you would if you're in the home.
It's called common sense. It's called common sense. I've always brought common sense with me when I root for my team in another stadium or arena. It's called common sense.
Yeah, and I'm consciously doing the same thing because I do the same thing. That I'm thinking I was laughing, but then I'm on board with you on a lot of things, how you handle that stuff. But I just wish that now you got TikTok and these social media posting all this stuff, and this is where the issue is for me. If you're watching games now, if some idiot runs on the field, at least the networks now, at least from what I'm saying, they don't
cover
it.
They don't
turn the camera. They don't turn the camera on the guy, Nate. But this is the big problem I see with this is these people. They're 15 seconds of fame and their idiocy. Hey, like Charles said the other day, let's get some clicks. Let's get people reacting to what I'm doing. But I just want to add a comment to the legalized gambling. I agree with Dorian. Players are getting threatened now. I mean, their families are getting threatened on their own social because they may not have hit their numbers. But here's my take, and I think the league they're promoting it. I mean, the legalized gambling is being promoted. I watch the games now. I've got they got people talking about the over/under on the network. So if you're the league's not, if they really want to take it seriously, I don't see how can the NFL games be promoting DraftKings and all these other.
Well, listen, gambling
legal-
is not going anywhere. It's been with us for ever, but now it's legalized. And listen, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm going to be reading a DraftKings spot here in a little bit, and I accept the fact that it's now part of our society. I always just tell people, and I read a disclaimer: if you have a gambling problem, call this number. People should, hopefully be disciplined enough to take X number of units, and that's what you're going to gamble with during a year. And if it's gone, then it's gone. But unfortunately, there are people that think they can make it back. And I'm not going to get off into a lecture on gambling, but it's not going anywhere. It's here to stay.
No, it isn't. And I think for me, here's my take with that. I think the league in some capacity. What's that?
Go ahead.
I think the league likes it because I know a lot of people, Nate, they're not like NFL fans, but they bet on NFL games because they like to gamble, and that brings in yet another segment of society that, even though they're not football fans, they watch games because they like to gamble.
Of course.
And they're smart enough to know, even though they don't know football, you can research these things left and right, and make their hunches. So that's yet another, like the NFL needs it. You got not a Swifties, you got the gamblers. These people aren't NFL fans, but they're watching the sport.
Of course, they had
that's
record
all I
ratings on the first week of the season. Al, I'm up against the break. I
Yeah.
got to go, buddy.
Why not? Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, I want to tell you about Village Financial Group. I have known broker owner Spencer Grimmenstein for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. And whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. And Spencer's been high-fiving people this week because rates have now gone into the fives. They've dipped. Take advantage of it. All right? Get in touch with Spence. Check out Village Financial Group at vfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. Be sure and call for the investor special. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Calls when we come back, 916-779-0929 on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports Traffic, taking our first look at the roadways. We're not looking too bad throughout the Sacramento area. Starting to see some volume build, especially on US 50 from Howe Avenue, making your way to I-5 northbound and southbound from top of the town freeway down to about Sutterville Road. You two are starting to experience some heavy rush hour delays. Capital City Freeway, Marconi Avenue down to Exposition. Also about a 20-25 minute drive time through there. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
For nearly all of us, our home is our biggest investment. And just as important as what it looks like on the outside is what is happening on the inside. How long has it been since you had your home's electrical integrity checked? Whether your home is 10 or more years old or even a newer build, the safe rule of thumb is to get the electrical inspected at least every 5 years. At Gabroods, electrical work is all we do. We're the area's recognized experts. Panel replacements, whole house fans, generators, solar, and more. But home inspections are what we do most often. Whether you have a difficult electrical situation or it's just time to ensure your home and family are safe, call locally owned Gabroods for our thorough 12-point expert inspection. Gabroods, serving our Northern California neighbors for more than 30 years. Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, G-U-B-R-U-D-S, Gabroods.com.
NASCAR roars into Roseville for the Napa Auto Parts 150 on Saturday, September 13th. Over 400 laps of stock car racing, plus a VIP barbecue, car show, Better Midway, and fireworks. Tickets and info at allamericансpeedway.com.
Hey, Sacramento, we've had the coolest and most comfortable summer in 30 years. And believe it or not, the cool summer has created a huge opportunity. Air conditioning makers are overstocked, and Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been given exclusive discounts to clear out that inventory. Why Sierra Pacific? Because the world's top brands know that Sierra Pacific installs their systems with precision craftsmanship and the most trusted warranties around. And right now, you can get a brand new high-efficiency system installed by Sierra Pacific at a special limited time price. And since many of these systems qualify for tax credits and SMUD rebates, you'll put even more money back in your pocket. This is a very limited opportunity. So call Sierra Pacific at 916-638-0543 or visit SierraPacificHome.com and schedule a free consultation.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Hey, this is Siani Hartz with Fox Sports Radio Sacramento, here to tell you how to win A's tickets. Enter our giveaway by heading to foxsportsac.com and follow us on Instagram at FoxKSac for more info.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United
will be putting out a complimentary hot dog bar with house-made chips. So come on out and see me tomorrow and watch Thursday Night Football with me. Jerry Reynolds is coming on with me tomorrow on location at 5 o'clock. So Jerry's going to be out there. Come on out and say hello to Jerry as well. That's Bennett's Westside Grill, Highway 65 in Blue Oaks. Again, that's Bennett's West Side Grill. I'll be doing the show from 3 to 6. Jerry will be with me, and he'll be on with me during the third hour, and then we'll be hanging out watching the Thursday night game with you. So come on out and say hi, and let's have a good time out at Bennett's tomorrow, their West Side Grill. If you want to call the show, 916-779-0929. You know, and I know a lot of people, I've been looking at messages during the commercial break, you know, think I'm just joking about my stories, about my teams that are rivals with the teams that are root for. I'm not joking. You know, I'm not joking. When I got married, you know, my wife's from Dallas, and I said, hey, I only have one rule. And I go, when your family or relatives or friends come visit, there's no cowboy stuff allowed in the house. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. No T-shirts, no anything. There's no cowboy stuff allowed in the house.
So
you know, I was serious.
So did she get to have a certain number of Cowboys items in the house? Or none?
None.
Zilch.
Zero.
Written in.
Done.
All right. Got it.
Yeah, I listen. I'm a pretty easy person to be with. I don't have a lot of rules. But that's just, there's no compromise there.
All right.
You know, there's no compromising there. Can't do it. Can't do it. No compromising. I'm sorry. I mean, just, you think I'm going to let, my son at age 6 knew that there was no way in the world he could play for a team in Little League with that uniform on.
So maybe you're the reason the Cowboys haven't won a championship in like 25 years.
No, I don't think I'm the reason. I think we know that the reason is initial JJ for Jerry Jones. Hey, speaking of that, do you know when we talk about rivalries and, you know, things of this nature, I don't think I'm that, I don't think I'm an aberration to this. I don't think I'm atypical. I think that a lot of people are like me, maybe not as to the extreme, but I've been to people's homes before where I've been wearing my New York stuff and they've asked me to take it off. I'm not, and I'm like, I understand completely. I understand.
I think you're a little bit of a aberration. I don't think that's normal here in NorCal.
Well,
Unless it was like a Lakers Golden State, maybe.
Let me ask you a question. If you're in the South and you're a fan of Alabama, do you think you're going to let somebody into your house with an Auburn hat
No
on?
chance.
Okay.
No chance.
If you I mean, I'm just giving you one example. Like you saw Any Given Saturday, right?
Yeah, great.
Right, you think
great
that like a lot of those fans are allowing fans of the other team with their apparel to come into their homes?
Absolutely not.
All
but
right,
it's
so
a
there you go. I'm not that
different-
atypical.
But that's a different rivalry. You're going on one extreme side of rivalries. How many other rivalries across sports?
North Carolina Dukes one.
Okay.
You think that happens on Tobacco Road, that you have a intersecting of friends that want their other friends who root for, if you're a North Carolina fan and your buddy roots for Duke, you think you're going to let them come into your home with their Duke stuff?
No, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, that set of rules applies only in these extreme cases. There's
Yeah,
not
but they
really middle.
apply.
There's not middle ground. It's either
Right.
it's not there or it's there.
Right. And I don't like, I've never been in a sports fight before at an arena or a stadium. So like, I'm not sick. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not in that category of sick people that think it's okay to fight at games.
Grant, they're not fighting for their teams. They're
I know.
fighting to
That's
fight.
true. That's true. But so, yeah, I just, listen, I there's nothing to me that's better than a sports rivalry. It's what makes sports what it is. I mean, what makes sports what it is? It's sports rivalries. I mean, that's what happens every year when the Lakers come into Sacramento. What happens when the Warriors come in? How many fans are in there rooting for the Warriors and the Lakers? When the Kings go down south, how many fans were down in LA last year? It just happens, right? I mean, rivalries are great. It's what makes sports what it is. Duke, North Carolina, college basketball. It's as good as it gets. It's great. Yankees, Red Sox, baseball, great. And I'm not saying it's great if you live in Sacramento, but it's great in the Northeast, I can tell you that. Duke, North Carolina is great if you live down in the South. Auburn, Alabama is great if you live in Alabama. I mean, Texas A&M, and we can go on and on. Notre Dame, Michigan was one of the best football rivalries of all time, and then it stopped. I mean, there are certain rivalries. We talked about it yesterday with Tim Brown. Notre Dame, USC. One of the very best college football rivalries, period. Like, every year, I couldn't wait to watch. As a kid, I could not wait to watch USC and Notre Dame. And I had nothing to do with Notre Dame. I had nothing to do with USC. I lived on Long Island in New York. I couldn't wait for the USC Notre Dame game. Why? It was big. Oklahoma, Nebraska, college football for years and years and years. Tom Osborne, Bud Wilkinson. That was must-see TV the day after Thanksgiving. It was Oklahoma, it was Nebraska, and it was one of the biggest college games of the year. Weren't going to miss it. Always Thanksgiving weekend. Never going to miss it. That Friday after Thanksgiving, great games. Rivalry games. I miss those days because Oklahoma doesn't play Nebraska anymore. Notre Dame doesn't play Michigan every year. Kansas doesn't play Missouri in college basketball anymore. I miss those rivalries because they were great. Fortunately, in pro sports, you still have those rivalries. Even if they realign conferences and divisions, you still have the rivalries. Giants-Dodgers, that started in New York. Very, very good rivalry, right? The Dodgers and the Padres. Very good rivalry when those teams play. Cubs-Cardinals in the Midwest. Great rivalry. That's what makes sport. If you don't have those rivalries, it's not the same. I love it. I live for them. There is nothing like going to a rivalry game and walking into a stadium or an arena for a rivalry game. Rangers-Flyers in hockey at Madison Square Garden. Are you kidding me? Freaking great. Rangers-Bruins, Madison Square Garden. I was at the game, and I think it was 79, where at the end of the game, Terry O'Reilly and Stan Jonathan and one other member of the Bruins climbed over the glass with their skates on and went up into the stands, and they had a big fight. I was at the game with my dad and brother. We were home on college break. 17,000, right? Well, actually, with hockey, it was more, but so 17,500 people standing up chanting Boston sucks as the Bruin players went over the glass with their skates on. And by the way, if you know anything about hockey skates, they're like razor blades. I don't know how you can even climb over. You can Google it. Google it right now. All right? Rangers, Bruins fight. Bruins players going over the glass. It was unbelievable. I was there. And then the Ranger fans tried to tip over the Bruins bus outside Madison Square Garden, and the mounted police had to come in to prevent the Bruins bus from being tipped. Now, I'm not saying that's good. Like, I'm not condoning that. But I'm just giving you an idea of what that rivalry was like. It's unbelievable. It's freaking unbelievable. All right, Mike Lamb, a dear friend, former partner on the radio show that I did for so many years. He's going to be coming up next. Can't wait. Plus your phone calls at 916-779-0929. The Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic as we take another look at the roadways. We're still dealing with some heavy rush hour delays throughout the Sacramento area. US 50 at Prairie City Road. We got objects being reported flying from a vehicle out onto the roadway. Definitely give yourself a couple of extra minutes to work your way through that. Hopefully it's nothing too severe in the way of debris and not doing any damage to any tires. Got a traffic hazard I-80 eastbound at Madison Avenue on-ramp in North Sacramento. Give yourself that extra time through there. I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Business owners, Grant Napier's back, bringing Fox Sports Radio to the forefront of sports talk in Sacramento. That means more listeners, more potential customers who could be spending money for your products and services. This is Kurt Bagelman, General Manager for Fox Sports Radio in Sacramento. Grant's back, and his return is an opportunity for your business. Listen, the sports talk audience is a target-rich group of consumers. 80% are employed, nearly 60% earn six-figure incomes, 67% own their homes. Take advantage of the attention Grant's return has generated to tell people where to spend their money. This is a unique opportunity to increase your sales right now. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great commercial message heard by sports fans could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 779-0914. Radio and Grant get results, and we are here to help. Call 779-0914.
For your criminal defense needs, NotGuilty.com, your trusted defense team. Facing criminal charges? From DUI, domestic violence, felonies to misdemeanors, any accusation can jeopardize your job, freedom, and future. Our experienced attorneys, including former DAs and prosecutors, bring unmatched trial expertise to protect your rights and fight to clear your record. Call 855-636-0550, 855-636-0550, or visit NotGuilty.com. Injured at work or in a car accident, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Our dedicated team fights for maximum recovery with no upfront cost to start your personal injury case. If we don't win, you don't pay. Call 855-636-0550, 855-636-0550, or visit NotGuilty.com. For your criminal defense needs, NotGuilty.com, your trusted defense team. Results may vary. An initial consultation is required to determine if your case qualifies. This is for informational purposes only and does not constitute official legal advice. This advertisement is paid for by the United Firm, La Liga Defensora.
Everyone loves to be outside, and so do mosquitoes. Protect yourself against mosquitoes and West Nile virus by following these simple tips. At least once a week, look around your yard and drain stagnant water from any containers where mosquitoes can breed. Remember to use an effective mosquito repellent, especially at dawn and dusk when mosquitoes are most active. Close all doors and be sure screens are in good working condition. At the Mosquito and Vector Control District, we're here to help. Visit us at fightthabite.net.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Sacramento, we've got our guy. Grant Napier's back, beginning weekdays at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284 CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Grant's back, and here to win. It's the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Now, Grant Napear.
Hour number 2. And as promised, my former co-host, good friend, so many great stories when he played football at USC with Hall of Famers. I mean, good Lord. The roster that Mike played with at USC was unbelievable. And every time I used to talk to my dad, the first thing he would say is, "How's Mike doing? How's Mike doing?" He loved Mike Lamb. And he joins us now here on Fox Sports Sacramento. How are you, buddy?
Well, I loved your dad. And the one thing that I was so thrilled, by the way, congratulations on the new gig.
Thank you.
I think it's just fantastic. I have gotten so much feedback from people about how awesome it has been and how energetic and great you've been. So just really congratulations. I think I'm taking a lot of pleasure in it, and I'm thrilled thinking about what the future holds.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's all great. Anyways, back to your dad. One of the most genteel guys I'd ever met, and it was very impactful. And I was thinking about a moment where he and I and Marty McNeil, God rest his soul, were sitting in the dining room before a Kings game. And your dad was just holding court. And I've always thought about, like, here's a guy, didn't matter who it was and what the crowd was, he would do that. But the thoughts that I really had, and it's very selfish, was that you will play the Father's Day interview for your dad moving forward. And that was the one thing I think I ever talked you into. I said, you should have your dad on.
That's right.
We could talk about the illusion. You're like, no, it's not. Who's gonna? And I'm like, pfft. And then he comes on, and
it was
he's talking
radio
about
gold.
Being at he's talking about being at the Polo Grounds, watching a Yankees game when the PA announcer said any armed forces, ROTC reserves, report to your station because Pearl Harbor had been bombed.
Yeah, December 7th, 1941, my dad was at the Polo Grounds. It was actually the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers, who a lot of people thought was just baseball. It was a football game, but he talked about that story as a 15-year-old. December 7th, the New York Giants playing the Brooklyn Dodgers at the Polo Grounds. How about that?
Yeah, it was something else.
Yeah.
I just remember how much I enjoyed just being around him, listening to him. He would tell stories. And so anyways, the one thing that I think I talked you into in our years together was to do that. And I'm patting myself on the back. So listen, I have a question for you.
Yes.
New station, that you're on?
Yes.
And how's it going?
It's going great. The feedback has been tremendous. I'm re-energized to be back. Mike, you know this. There's really nothing like the power of live radio. It's just a great feeling. And then when I have the response that I have received from this phenomenal community, it just energizes me. I love doing it, Mike.
Oh, so at the new station, there's competent and supportive management. That
awesome.
must be a switch. That must be a switch for you.
It's great. It's absolutely great. It's one of the reasons why I took this job. The general manager here is phenomenal. I'm not looking for a raise, Kurt, as I'm talking. Well, I actually am. But the ownership, it's owned by a family, and they've had this business for many, many, many years. And it's you know what, Mike? It's a perfect fit for me. It's a perfect fit for me.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, you can say what you want, and nobody's going to censor you. So
It's great.
I just think it's fantastic. Yeah. No,
Mike,
fantastic.
when I had you on my podcast, one of the things that I just loved about you was your honesty about growing up in Clovis, and you only knew what you knew. And then when you went to USC to play college football, your entire life changed because you were introduced to so many other life experiences you didn't know anything about.
Well, I think if you want to paint it, it was a lily white existence that I grew up in, and I had never been around anything diverse in my life. And so now I'm in Los Angeles, and I'm on a football team, and having to draw my own conclusions other than maybe something that had been laid out for me or things that I had heard or whatever, however it is, and develop some loving, lifelong relationships with teammates and people that I went to school with. So it was eye-opening, and I really think that's the beauty of going to a 4-year university and seeing those things. A guy that I have crossed paths with forever has been Ronnie Lott, who was one of my teammates. And Ronnie, I used to just look at him and I wished that I had his wisdom, and I don't know where it all came from. But, the things that he did after the 49ers and working in an investment company and doing those things. And look, it doesn't hurt to be famous and be him, but it's just the things and the way that he's done it and conducted himself. My ultimate player that I would love to think I'm trying to model is Derek Jeter, and the way that he was the captain of the Yankees and the way he conducted himself. And so I hope it's not a stretch, but I would say, those two guys are kind of on the same par as far as where I have respect for.
I love hearing that. Mike Lamb joining us here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Yesterday, I had Tim Brown and Sean Salisbury on, and we talked about the USC Notre Dame rivalry. And I love your stories. When you played at South Bend, what was that like? What do you remember the most about playing Notre Dame at their stadium?
Well, this is going to sound idiotic to you, but I will never forget a moment when I had my hand in the grass, and I just said to myself, capture this moment like a snapshot. And they always grew the grass very long, and so you would slow down, and I just remember it in there. And then the other thing that I'm not proud of, but Mike Golick got me on an interception. And so I'm always trying to live that down when I see him. But I think that kind of goes towards the rivalry that is and the mutual respect that gets that done.
And weren't the fans right on top of you there? Your bench,
Oh, yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I had a guy yelling at me the whole game, and I turn around and he's sitting two seats down from a nun, and I'm thinking, come on, let's maintain some decorum. Hey, listen, if you don't mind, I'd love to shift to the NFL.
Yes.
And one of the things that I'm also very relieved about with you coming back to Sacramento is I know what to get you now for Christmas.
Oh.
And I think the appropriate thing would be a Cameron Scatterboo jersey of the New York Football Giants.
Well, okay, and I'm going to say this to you. If you could come out of retirement and put on a New York Giants uniform, you might be one of their best linemen right now, still at this part of your life.
You know, it's funny. I was doing a radio show in Florida this morning.
Wow.
And the host there is a Lions fan. And I laughed because I said, I've got 3 people in radio that I know that all sent me a text or called me about how bad their offensive line was, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was, he's a Lions fan, a Patriots fan, and of course, everybody's favorite announcer, radio personality in Sacramento. You sent me that. And so I was like, I guess in week 1, we're going to beat up on that. You know, the Cameron Scatterboo thing has been great for me because, like I said, I do hits across the country on college football. So I'll take you back if I could just tell you a little story. I hate to digress.
No,
but
go for it.
So we're in Tahoe probably about 4 years ago. My favorite niece, Sarah, is watching football with me. Now you know why she's my favorite niece. And so I turn, and then all of a sudden I hear her say, "Did you see Scatterboo's block?" and I looked and I said, like, "Wait, what?" You know, this is
right.
He laid somebody out. This is when he was at Sac State. So I followed his career, and I mean, I love his style of play, and I think everybody does. So I followed his career when he went to ASU. So then last year, I'm talking about Arizona State when nobody else knew they were anything at all in the Big 12, right?
Yeah.
And then I said, keep your eyes on this guy, Cameron Scatterboo. Well, they thought I was an absolute soothsayer because I'm building that kid up, and now look at him for your Giants. I mean, even Tom Brady caught on, right?
Yeah. I'm going to try to get him on the show. I'm going to try to get him on the show.
Oh, well, listen, pal, you were the reason that Aaron Rodgers came on the show, right?
Yeah.
Because he had listened to you when he lived in Chico. So something tells me that somebody in Rio Linda has listened to you over time, and I would think they would try to help you circumvent the PR person at the Giants.
That's Pat Hanlon,
I think it would be
who
great.
I'm very tight with. So Pat will help me out. Yes. Hey, when I think of you, there are 2 things that always pop right into my mind. Number 1 was December 2nd, 2007, my dad's memorial in New York, and you flew all night on the red eye to be there, and you didn't even tell me that you were going. So I will never, ever forget that and how much that meant to me. And second, you were one of the few people in Sacramento that came out publicly and said, I would not draft DeMarcus Cousins. He has too many red flags. And boy, did you hit that right on the head. I'll never forget that, Mike.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah. Well, it had all the telltale signs. Listen, I like a different type of player, and you know that.
Yep.
And so I think my favorite king was probably Bobby Jackson.
Yeah.
And it's just because I love the intangibles. I love the character traits. I loved Corliss Williamson when he was there, even though he's not a star player. But I always want to see those types of players that have the intangibles that have a little more depth than what is on the court. And so, no, I just thought that was a red flag. And I know it wasn't popular because everybody in town wanted to think that he was going to be great and do all those things. But I just, I wanted to be truthful about that. And I think that I was.
You sure were.
It's just interesting when you see those players and, here's the thing. You want to not root against them because of what you said. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And yeah. So you and I, have to have opinions, and we've had them, and then sometimes we're right, and sometimes, like I was on a show, and I was talking about Aaron Rodgers, and I said that, he instead of trying to find another team, he should go play softball out at Sun City Roseville. That should be his next move.
Oh my God, you're killing me. Oh my God, Sun City Roseville softball. Okay, there you go. Oh my gosh.
And then he throws 4 touchdowns. So what
Yeah.
do you know?
Oh my gosh, Mike Lamb is joining us here on Fox Sports Sacramento. What is wrong with you? Oh my gosh.
A lot of people ask that.
And you know what I respond? I answer many things. I just respond many things.
Yeah. So then, and I know we'll probably run up against the clock here, but
no clock. Don't worry about it. You go for it.
Okay. So I'm a hero in my house, and I just wanted to bring this to you because I told my wife to pick Saquon Barkley for her fantasy team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wanted to ask you a follow-up question. Grant, who did Saquon used to play for?
He used to play for the New York Giants in their prevent offense.
So one of the things that I think is accepted that you don't trade or let somebody go to somebody in your division, right?
Correct.
I mean, yeah, because they're going to come. Okay, so it's a little bit of a stretch, but I've got a kind of an analogy here for you. I think in the radio business in Sacramento, you are going to end up being the Saquon Barkley of sports talk radio.
Wow, I'll take that right now. Hey, Lamb. Good. I hope you're right, man. I know you're right because I came back. Listen, Mike. You know how I am. I take this very seriously. I came back to dominate the market and to win, and anything else is not acceptable to me.
Well, I just remember back in the day, and when you and I were working together, it was just incredible. It just really was. We had the incredible numbers. The station was doing great, and I'm thinking back. We just had Kings. Of course, Rick was there.
Yes.
So the Kings were very good.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
And then the other thing we had to hang our hat on were the Oakland Raiders, who were really going through their downtime.
Yes, they were.
Functional, right? Yeah. And I guess we did Giants and A's. The A's weren't, the A's were okay. And speaking of that, did you know my A's? My A's
Your A's
came back and beat.
Yes.
Came back to beat the Red Sox today.
Yes. I shared a couple of stories about that, and I'll tell you real quickly. I shared the story earlier when I signed Chase up for Little League at age 6, and we were driving back, and it was raining, and the windshield wipers going on. He's 6 years old, and he's sitting in the back seat, and he says, "Daddy, what team am I going to be on?" And I said, "We don't know yet, son. We won't know for a little while." And then a couple of seconds later, he goes, "Daddy?" I go, "Yes, Chase. What happens if I'm on the Red Sox?" And I looked in the rearview mirror, and I looked at him with just a very, quick response, and I said, "Then you're not playing this year." And about 30 seconds went by, and he said, "Daddy?" I said, "Yes, son. Are there trades in Little League?" So even at age 6, he knew that was not going to happen. Hey, by the way, I just got a message on the chat line. They want to know if you still have your Cougar 5-iron.
Oh my God, Grant! Listen, last Monday I retired from golf. Right? I had it. And don't you remember when they were telling Charles Barkley either get better or retire? Well, I didn't get better, so I retired. So
yeah,
the Cougar 5-iron is available if anybody wants it. I'll put it. Maybe we'll have an auction for the. Your foundation is the Future Foundation.
Yeah,
right?
Well, we can come up with something, but I got to tell you, I think that's the most famous 5-iron in all of Sacramento.
Yeah, it's still in the bag. Hey, last thing, because I do know you're running out of stuff. So here's my lasting memory of Chase. So you and I took Trent, Chase, and Logan to the Oakland A's Yankees game, and we all drove over to the Coliseum, probably on Tuesday because it's free parking Tuesdays. Everybody A's fan always knew,
right? Yeah,
but we go there, and I don't know who it was, gave up a grand slam, and the whole stadium was Yankees fans, which you're used to.
Sure.
So we're driving home, and all of a sudden my phone I keep getting like called, and what it was. So it was Chase in the back, and then finally he said something like, How'd you like that grand slam? And I was like, oh my gosh. So
yeah.
he was your boy, whatever that was, 20 years ago.
Yeah. I love it. We actually do have a little more time, and I want to ask you, with tomorrow being 9/11, I remember doing the show with you during that period of time and how many times we were on remote. And I remember doing a show off Sunrise Boulevard, and all of the fire trucks were out on Sunrise with their boots and having a big fundraiser. And I'll never forget doing those shows during that period of time, because sports, no one cared about sports. We didn't talk about sports, and we made a transition into like real life. And I'm thinking about, and I don't mean to get into politics, all of the tragedies we've had this week and how bad things are. And I just, I think, just terrible. And I think about that period of time. And the one thing I remember about that period of time was how patriotic and how everybody came together for the most part. And man, I don't want to have a tragedy, but that's the one thing that stands out for me when you were with me doing those shows.
I want to say it affected you more so than most people. And obviously you're a New Yorker. You're a native New Yorker.
I grew up watching those towers being built. I watched them being built as a kid.
Yeah. So I really thought that was, you've got a kind of a sensitive bone there in your body that I don't think people know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been around you. We've been through a lot.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Yeah. So we're the two fired announcers from 1140.
Like, and it shouldn't have happened to either one of us. That's the whole problem, right?
Well, I mean, that's another story, and I like the fact that your story is so open and can be told.
Thank you.
And people understand it, because I think that what happened resonated with a lot of people. I just know I got so many calls and texts, when that all went down, and people thought it was an injustice, and I'm just talking about people that were in the industry that were shocked, and I actually heard your conversation with Walt Gray, and you guys touched upon it a little bit.
Yep.
And I don't want to rehash it, but I'm just telling you that I loved when we were together. I loved living in Sacramento and everything that was there, and I know that it was hard for you. It's hard for me.
Yep.
And to say that we've been through things together, I think that's an understatement. But I'm just going to hang on. I want people to continue to think about this analogy. Grant Napear is going to be the Saquon Barkley of sports talk radio in Sacramento.
I love it. I appreciate you, Mike. You take care, buddy. It's great having you on the show, man. And that laugh, no one has a laugh like Mike Lamb, that's for sure.
All right, Saquon.
You take care, buddy. Bye-bye now. Appreciate you.
Bye.
All right, great stuff from Mike Lamb. Just love that man. Love him. Hey, football, as we know, is back, and so is your shot at big wins with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite quarterbacks, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. Very simple. All right. I've got the DraftKings Pick 6 app. I'm looking at tomorrow's game. I'm looking at the totals for the quarterbacks, and I'm going more or less based on the number. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Use code KSAC. That's code KSAC. Place just $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Fox Sports traffic as we take another look at the roadways. Brand new accident, US 50 eastbound right at the 99 interchange. It's causing all sorts of slowdowns through there. Cap City Freeway, heavy rush hour delays between Marconi Avenue and Exposition Boulevard, and I-5 southbound anywhere from Metro Air Parkway as you make your way to 50. You too are dealing with some heavy rush hour delays, about a 40 to 45 minute ride as of right now. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hey, come on in.
Hi, Jack. In our subdivision?
Yeah, I saw your Suburban out front, so I thought I'd see how your kitchen and bath remodel was going.
We're delayed.
Oh, watch your step.
Waiting on subs.
Contractors?
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't go with Kitchen Mart?
No, why?
Nothing. That's just why we went with Kitchen Mart. They don't use subs.
No subs? No subs?
Yeah, with the exception of something very specialized, Kitchen Mart does everything in-house so they can finish on time and on budget. So your cabinets, countertops, plumbing, drywall, electric, and your contractor pulled permits, right? That's the law.
Was he supposed to?
You mean supposed to?
What'd I say?
Sub.
Sub?
Sub.
Remodeling your kitchen or bath? 20,000 ecstatic customers agree. No subs means Kitchen Mart's in-house designers, craftsmen, and installers do it right and finish on time and on budget. Kitchen Mart, with 2 showrooms in Sacramento and Rockland. Call 362-7080 or go to kitchenmart.net for a free home appointment.
Kitchen and bath, no one does it better than Kitchen Mart.
The most trusted name in kitchen and bath remodeling since 1976.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Welcome to HQ Showgirls, Sacramento's premier adult gentlemen's club. We're the only topless club between Reno and San Francisco serving alcohol, beer, wine, and champagne. All inside over 6,000 square feet of pure excitement. Planning a party or a VIP night? Call our VIP.
The great memories. And when we talk, it's like we just pick up right where he left off. He's such a great guy. And we had such a phenomenal time together and developed a great friendship. And I just really am happy that he shared so many things over 20 minutes. So I'm the Saquon Barkley of Sacramento. That's what I'm going to be. All right. Hey, listen, get the general manager in here. Do I get paid like Saquon Barkley if I?
I did talk to Kurt during the break about that.
yeah.
You got to do a few more squats now.
Yeah. You know, at age 66, if I even did one squat, there would have to be an ambulance outside the door for me. I don't think I would make it very far. How about that? the Saquon Barkley of Sacramento. I love it. What a great guy Mike is. What a great guy. Oh, I miss him. Lives up in the Pacific Northwest now. Hey, speaking of Mike's, Mike Pereira is going to be coming on with me right after Grant's Rant at 5 o'clock, the NFL on Fox. Mike Pereira, who really was the first guy to be on a network to talk about officiating and rules and everything else. And now everyone's doing it, but Mike was really the pioneer in that regard. Another great man, just a great guy. Love Mike Pereira, just awesome.
Isn't Mike running a program for aspiring referees?
Yes, he is. Yep. It's called Battlefields to Ballfields, and we'll talk to him about that. So Mike's great. Yes. And I've talked to Mike very often about the problems that we're having now with officiating, because so many people don't want to be going into officiating because they don't want to get yelled at all the time. You know, you look at what's going on at Little League baseball games, youth football games. You know, parents are out of control. And it's like, why would you want to be an official and deal with that? And it's not pleasant. So I'll talk to Mike about that and a lot more. That's coming up in about 30 minutes. But, you know, we were talking earlier about rivalries and how, like, to me, when I think of sports and the best sport moments, like when the 49ers and the Giants were playing every year in the late 80s, they were the two best teams in the NFC. And even though they were from, you know, different coasts, that became a great rivalry in the NFL. And they had tremendous games. And the Monday night games that I went to in San Francisco, in which the Giants lost both of them, were just like the buildup to those games was absolutely unbelievable. And the buildup to the championship game in 91, where Matt Barr kicked the ball right over my head pretty much to win the NFC championship game. Like the buildup that week, it was just incredible. Bill Parcells, right? Bill Walsh. I mean, Lawrence Taylor, Jerry Rice. Think about all the Hall of Famers that were on that field. Ronnie Lott, right? I mean, everyone talks a lot about the 49ers offense, but that defense was excellent. I became very good friends with Keena Turner, starting linebacker, who's just, if you don't like Keena Turner, you have a problem. The guy is amazing. Great man. And I announced arena football with Keena for many, many years and was playing golf with him and in his celebrity golf tournament, and just a great guy, like just great. But I used to just razz the heck out of him about the 49 to the 49-3 destroying of the 49ers in the divisional round in New York, the year the Giants won their first Super Bowl. And I used to always give him a hard time about the championship game in 91. But, I mean, he had his Super Bowl ring, so he always gave it right back to me. Great guy. Love Keena Turner. But you think about that defense. That defense was really good. They didn't get enough credit because they were overshadowed by that 49ers offense. I mean, when you have Joe Montana and John Taylor and Rice and Craig and, you know, Tom Rathman, and, I mean, you can go on and on. Randy Cross, Sapolo at guard. I mean, that offensive line, tremendous tight end. Brent Jones. That's why nobody talked about the 49ers defense, but their defense was really, really good. And when you have a defense that has a Ronnie Lott on it, wow. Like that's what it is. It's a wow. If you were not from that era of football and you didn't get a chance to see Lawrence Taylor play, if you didn't get a chance to see Ronnie Lott play, then you missed two of the greatest defensive players in the history of the National Football League. And when you talk about Lawrence Taylor, in my opinion, he is the greatest defensive player of all time. Ronnie Lott is clearly one of the best safeties in the history of the National Football League, period. I mean, when you think about that era of football, when the Giants and the Niners were vying for the championship every year in the NFC, and the talent that came, like if you look at the Giants defense, Lawrence Taylor, Harry Carson, Hall of Fame. In my opinion, Carl Banks should be in the Hall of Fame. Their other linebacker, Gary Reasons, was tremendous. Jim Burt, Leonard Marshall, George Martin up front in the 3-4 defense. That front seven was spectacular. They were great. And the chess match between Bill Parcells and Bill Walsh, Giants defense against the 49ers offense. That was can't miss football right there. 916-779-0929. Rich in San Diego. Hi, Rich.
Hey, good afternoon, Grant. How you
Rich.
doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Hey, I just wanted to give you some props first off about having Mike Lamb on. That was a great interview.
Thank you.
And Yeah, and I have to tell you, and I was in SAC for many years, and listening to KHDK, listening to you and Mike was my favorite show of
Thank
all
you.
time.
Appreciate that. That
It
was a
was
joy to do
amazing.
the
You
show
guys
with
did-
him.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He should have never
You guys were so good
he
together.
should have never been let go. It was a horrible decision.
No. When I remember when I was in SAC when he was let go.
It's
And I'm
terrible.
like, what? Are you kidding me?
Terrible.
Yeah. So the other thing I want to mention too, like you complimented him about what a great laugh he has. He and you both have a phenomenal laugh. I just love it. I mean, because I heard you laughing just a little bit ago, and like, yeah, Grant's got a pretty good laugh.
Thank you.
Don't discount. Yeah, no, seriously, it's awesome, and it's a good thing. But another thing I wanted to mention to you, you talked about your son Chase is in Nashville,
Yes, she's at Nashville.
right? Okay, well there's a native Sacramentan that he went to high school with me there in Sacramento, and he's very famous now in Nashville.
Oh,
And you gotta remember this name.
all right. I'm going to write it down. Go
his
ahead.
name is- James House. And
James.
he's been a singer. James.
Yep.
James.
Yep.
Yeah. House. Yeah.
Okay. Can
Yeah.
you
And in
how do you spell
Sacramento,
Hauk? The manager Ralph Hauk?
No, House. No, House.
Oh, House.
Like your
Okay.
house.
Oh, I'm
Build
sorry.
your
James House. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So James House. Very simple.
Got
Very
it.
simple. But he's done a lot of songwriting, and he's phenomenal. And he performs still in Nashville. And he just came out with a new CD recently. But he went to high school with me, and I stay in touch with him on Facebook. Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So maybe someday when you go out and see your son, give me a heads up, man. Maybe we'll go see, because I've been wanting to get out to Nashville forever.
Well,
and maybe we'll go out and see James perform with you and your son, man.
I would
Would
love
that
it.
be amazing?
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be awesome.
Good hearing from you.
One last
Yeah,
quick
go ahead.
thing.
Yep.
Hey, quick last thing now.
Yeah.
You talked about getting Spud Webb on.
Yeah.
Is he coming on today?
No, he's not coming on today. As soon he hasn't gotten back to me yet, but he will. I'll get him on.
Okay, because I have the most amazing story about Spud Webb.
All right. Well,
I'd love to actually
save
share
it
with
for
you
when I get him
at
on.
the
The
same
day
time.
I get him on.
No, I will.
Yeah.
I sure will. Okay. All right. Good talking with you, buddy.
Thank
Keep
you.
it up.
You take care. Bye-bye. Good stuff. Let's get to Leo before we get to the break. Hello, Leo.
Hey, Grant, we go way, way back, man. It's good that your voice is back in town, bro.
Thank you, buddy.
I got the hardest hypothetical you're gonna. This is the hardest hypothetical you're ever gonna have in your life. Okay. So you take your son. My son and your son actually played together when they were Mighty Mites or Pee Wees.
Wow.
You actually announced one of the games.
Yes.
So,
and they were a
my
great
kid
team. They went
on and
undefeated.
They were tough, and
You know who was
my son went
was
to
on
play
that
it.
team, right?
Who? Henry Turner's kid, right? Or did he play with Folsom? He was with Folsom.
They had a player on that team that ended up being the starting quarterback at Notre Dame. You remember the name?
Oh yeah, in book. That's right.
That's right.
That's
and
right.
Exactly right. And then he went in the NFL and actually during the pandemic started a game for the Saints on Monday Night Football.
I'll be dang.
Yeah. How about that? I watched him play his first ever game and then to watch him progress and be so good and then go to Washington State, then transfer to Notre Dame and started at Notre Dame. Ian Book.
Yeah, my youngest that played with your kid, I used to see at Hardwood Palace with the basketball stuff, but my kid went on to play at University of Washington and played with the Giants briefly, and then went to the Carolina Panthers the last couple of years, and local kid out of Sheldon High. So my question to you is this: your son, he gets drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. What would you do?
Wow.
Are you wearing a cowboy hat?
No, I'm not wearing a cowboy hat, but I would support him because he's my son. I would wear still my Giants gear, but I would obviously support him. But when the but when the Giants play the Cowboys, I'd still be rooting for the Giants.
I'll be there because I've always suggested that I'm wearing all. My kid sends me all this stuff, that they get from, they get all these gift packs of, Giant stuff, Panther stuff.
Yeah.
He was just with the Bears, and I wear it all. And being a Raider fan, and at the fandom, once I had a kid that, started playing in the league himself, that fandom for me just went away. And I was the guy that was next month we're going to win it all. I was kind of like kind of like on the unrealistic side about all that stuff. And it does change, for me, it does change your fandom a little bit, big time, And I was always kind of curious because I have a guy he's a Dallas fan. It's at the bank, and I'm wearing my New York Giants stuff. And he's looking at me like, man, if my kid ever got, I'm like, come on, bro. I just don't see how that's possible. But hey, there's a lot of other people that feel like that.
Well, I'll tell you, it's why I don't play fantasy football, because I couldn't root for anybody on any other team that's not on the Giants. So if I played fantasy football, all I would have would be New York Giants. And what's the purpose of that? I watch them play every week anyway. So that's why I don't play fantasy football.
Me neither. Yeah, I don't care about stats and all that stuff. And just win or lose. It's like, to me, it reminds me of Dungeons and Dragons when you see all those guys used to come to school with all these books. I call it the Dungeons and Dragon League. It's kind of dorky to me, but whatever.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Leo. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care. Hey, before we go to break, I want to talk to you about Village Financial Group and Spencer Grimmenstein, the broker owner who I have known for 25 years, ever since he began his family-owned business. And he is pumped because rates have dipped into the fives. And so whether it's a home equity line of credit or buying or selling a home, Spencer is a very creative financing specialist with access to private money. Check out Village Financial Group at vfgloans.com or call Spencer at 916-805-4868. And again, take advantage of these rates that have dipped now into the fives. And also be sure and call for the investors special. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest.
This National Recovery Month Minute is brought to you by ChooseChangeCA.org. So many things, big and little, make you uniquely you, your hobbies, dreams, career, family, and more. Addiction to drugs, including opioids and stimulants, can strip these away from you. This National Recovery Month, recover your life, choose treatment for drug addiction, and get back to what matters most. Treatment is available in many forms through primary care doctor, licensed narcotic treatment programs, outpatient treatment programs, licensed residential facilities, and even virtual care. Help is within reach. You can recover. Find a proven treatment option that's right for you. Recover you at ChooseChangeCA.org. That's ChooseChangeCA.org. That's ChooseChangeCA.org. Brought to you by ChooseChangeCA.org. Recover you.
Downtown Ford of Sacramento has been in business since 1911. And as the oldest Ford dealership in California, we've provided cars and trucks for generations of Sacramento families. And you may not know it, but Downtown Ford provides the emergency vehicles for just about every law enforcement agency in the Sacramento region. Providing vehicles for emergency responders is a tradition of service we're truly proud of. And today, Downtown Ford has expanded to include their Howe Avenue location. So, with 2 Ford stores and literally acres of new and certified pre-owned vehicles in stock, we definitely have the Ford that you've been dreaming of. And if you're not quite ready to get into the brand new Ford of your dreams, we probably have a certified pre-owned version of the same vehicle for substantially less. If the open road is calling you, get to Downtown Ford Sacramento. DowntownFordSacramento.com.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is
homemade chips. So that will be available to you, complimentary, out at Bennett's Westside Grill. Let's come out and watch the game together, and we can hang out. I'm looking forward to that. All right, if you want to call the show, the number is 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. You know, I was thinking about this because Ryan and I were talking about the rivalries, and you talk about hockey. Most of the rivalries were the original six because for obvious reasons. But in football, you know, I wonder what is the biggest rivalry, because for years in the AFC, it was the Colts and the Patriots, right? It was Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, and that was the game that seemed to get the most, I guess, play out of it, right? And then you looked at Baltimore and Pittsburgh, and that's always been, shouldn't say always, because the Ravens used to be the Cleveland Browns, but during that era, you know, the Steelers and the Ravens were an incredible rivalry. You know, I grew up in New York. I mean, all those teams, but Giants-Cowboys was always a tremendous rivalry. I always thought it was more so than even the Giants in Washington and the Giants and the Eagles. There was just something about, you know, the Giants and the Cowboys. But what was one of the best rivalries in all of football? It was the Redskins and the Cowboys, right? For years. Dallas, Washington. Washington, Dallas. In that era of football, that was maybe the best rivalry in the National Football League. You think about the Raiders and, you know, their rivalries from their division with Kansas City or the Chargers, or, you know, I mean, it depends where you're from, what you grew up with. But I grew up with Yankees and that team north of New York. I grew up with Giants, Cowboys. You know, the Jets. Their rivalry back when they were really good was the Colts. That Super Bowl in '69. Johnny Unitas. But, you know, I think probably if you look back at sport, you got to start with baseball. And look at what the Giants and the Dodgers were like when they were both in New York. And then it filtered out to the West Coast, and that's still a heck of a rivalry. I worked in Illinois for 3 years and covered the Cubs and the Cardinals rivalry when they were really good, both of them. And that was tremendous. And I used to love going to Busch Stadium for those games. And I remember doing a live shot from the bleachers at Wrigley Field on opening day for the Cubs game. That was quite an experience to be on live TV out at Wrigley Field in the bleachers. Like, I'll never forget that live shot. But that was great. I used to love covering rivalries, especially rivalries that I had not been part of because I grew up in a different part of the country. But the Cubs-Cardinals rivalry, if you're listening and you're from that part of the country, like, that was big time, especially during that time when the Cubs were good and the Cardinals were good. I always tell the story about doing back then you could sell stories to ESPN and Sports Time and make extra money. And I remember going to do a story on Ryne Sandberg and Tommy Herr when they were the two best second basemen in baseball and were running neck and neck for the MVP. And I went to Wrigley Field and interviewed Ryne Sandberg for a Cubs game, and we got all kinds of B-roll and everything. And I remember driving back to Decatur because we were getting ready to go to St. Louis the next day to cover the Cardinals. And I said to my cameraman, I go, pull over, pull over, pull over. We were on I-55. And he's like, what are you talking about? I go, pull over, pull over. So we pull over to the shoulder of the road, and the sign said I-55, St. Louis. And I remember to this day doing my stand-up, and I said to my cameraman, I said, start off on me and zoom to the sign where it says St. Louis. And I was on the side of the highway, and I said, but to find the best second baseman in baseball, you have to take I-55 south to St. Louis and the home of Tommy Herr. Bingo. And after I got a chance to interview Tommy Herr and Whitey Herzog and a couple of the Cardinals, I put the story together, drove it to the airport in Decatur, Illinois, put it into shipping, notified ESPN there was a package coming, and then you would sit and watch to see if Chris Berman or Bob Lee would introduce you. And for more on the story and the MVP race between Ryan Sandberg and Tommy Herr, here's Grant Napear. And you were like, two things. Cha-ching! I got $75. I gave $75 to my cameraman. And how cool is it that I'm in Decatur, Illinois, and I'm watching myself on national TV doing a story? Like, those were great days in the mid-'80s. Those were great. Those really were incredible days in my career. And I always talk about, when I talk to students, whether it's in college or high school, pay your dues. Pay your dues. Learn the business. I was making less than $13,000 a year when I worked in TV in Decatur, Illinois, my first year. But I covered Illini football. Mike White was the head coach. Top 10 team. Jack Trudeau was the quarterback. Lou Henson, the basketball coach. Top 10 team. That's when Bobby Knight was at Indiana. Bill Frieder was at Michigan. Gene Cady at Purdue. Like, that Big Ten basketball was tremendous to cover. And Lou Henson could not have been nicer to work with. He was great. Great. I remember it because it was a 45-minute drive from Decatur to Champaign. And I went up to interview Lou Henson because they had a huge game the next day. And I get back and I start editing it. I'm like, oh my God. The cameraman forgot to get the white balance. And Lou looked all purple. I couldn't use it. So I called up the sports information director of Illinois. I said, hey, I hate to ask you this, but we had a technical issue. Is there any way I can come back if Lou's still there? And he goes, I'll call you back. And he calls me back in 5 minutes. The phone rings in the control room, and I answer it. And he goes, Lou said no problem if you can get here in the next hour. So we hop in the car, and we're going rather fast on I-70. And we get to Lou's office. I go, Lou, I am so sorry. He goes, Grant, not a problem. I'm happy to do it. Don't worry about it. And I said to my cameraman, I go, you got the white balance this time? And I interviewed Lou. He could not have been nicer. Like, you don't forget things like that. You don't forget those type of moments where, a Big Ten basketball coach who's got a top 10 program has sympathy that you had an issue and he's okay to make it right. Like, he could have said, no, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? And I'm just thinking like you don't forget. I tell the story about Sparky Anderson. I'll never forget Sparky Anderson. Just, that had a big impact on my career at that point in time, and how to treat people, and how certain managers and certain coaches and certain athletes are great with the media. And then you have others who aren't. And fortunately, those aren't the norm. They're the exception. Most athletes understand their commitment that they have to, and their responsibility, not commitment, their responsibility to us in the media. And most of them do it very well and are very accommodating. But then there are those that are jerks, and they don't have a problem like Barry Bonds letting you know that they're a jerk. And they have no problem at all being disrespectful over and over and over again, as if they're God and they're much better than you and you don't matter and you're just a little peon. There are people like that. There are people like that. DeMarcus Cousins was like that with many members of the media here in Sacramento. Anyone that tells you otherwise is lying. All right? There's no reason to be like that. You can just say, no, thank you. I'm not doing the interview. You don't have to be disrespectful. You don't have to be a bully. Like, what's the purpose of that? No need for it. Barry Bonds was rude. He was crude. And he turned a lot of people off. Actually turned almost everyone off in the media. We all used to talk about him. Why? Because he was a jerk when he didn't have to be. It's really just incredible. 916-779-0929. I hope you are, those of you that have checked us out today on YouTube and X, yes, we'll be streaming the show every day. So for those of you that have not heard that, you can follow us at Fox Sports Radio Sacramento, the YouTube channel, and you can watch the show Monday through Friday. And don't forget, at 6 o'clock every day, we'll replay the first hour of this show. So if you did not get a chance to catch hour number 1, don't worry about it. You'll be able to listen to it at 6 o'clock. Kind of weird driving home and listening to myself on the radio, but I did, picking out all the mistakes I made. Rhino didn't make any mistakes in the first hour of the show yesterday. I gave him an A+ grade. I even sent him a message afterwards, and I said, you were great. I gave Ryan an A+. I gave my grade in the first hour was a B+. So you beat me, Rhino, by a full letter grade.
That's saying something, Grant. The days of working and talking to a shampoo bottle or a body wash bottle for 5 minutes are paying off.
Yeah.
Paying my dues.
A+, buddy. I gave you an A+.
Thank
I didn't give you 100. I gave you a score of 97. That's an A+. There's always room for improvement, so I got to leave a little margin there, okay?
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Yeah,
I got to do what I got to do.
Give me enough to get to the plus.
Yeah, and I gave myself an 87, so you beat me by 10 points, all right? You beat me by 10 points.
We'll mark it down. We'll mark it down.
Absolutely. Try to be a fair grader here. I gave Ryan a better grade than me. That's okay. You know, today's a new day. When I'm driving out of here tonight at 6 o'clock and I'm listening to the show, I may give Rhino a B or a B+ and maybe give myself an A+. I'm giving Mike Lamb an A+, even though he was not on in the first hour. We just had Mike on earlier this hour. He gets a A++++. He was great. And I know that my next guest, Mike Pereira, the NFL on Fox, will get an A+ because he always gets an A+. And he also gets an A+ on TV because I don't think the guy's ever wrong. Seriously. He's never wrong on the air. He gets the call right every single time. I've known him for a long time. So much respect for Mike Pereira and the NFL on Fox. So he's going to be coming on here in just a couple of minutes. It's amazing. I'm going to talk to him about this because I just think it's fascinating how his career began. You know, he was a former NFL official. But, you know, now he's the man that everyone aspires to be if you want to become on network as a quote-unquote rules analyst. You know, he was former vice president of officiating in the NFL. And again, you know, you talk about current rules analyst at Fox Sports. He does college football, the NFL. And again, I say this, he's not wrong very often. He's not wrong very often. He's just not. All right, let's check in with Kurt real quick before we get to the break. Hello, Kurt.
Hey, Grant. Hey, aside from sports real quick, I just happened to Google the Bennett's Bar and Grill and looked at their menu and their food and what have you and the prices. Damn, that looks like an outstanding place to go eat. I referred to your call screener there. It looks like the Crow's Nest down in Santa Cruz. That looks like some damn good food at moderate prices.
It's great. And, you know, tomorrow I'll be at their West Side Grill in Rockland. They have 3 locations, Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. And tomorrow I'll be at the Rockland. They have the same menu at all 3 restaurants. But it is great. And I can't wait to get there. And I will be having myself a nice meal. But thank you for saying that.
I'm going to try and talk my wife into going and having a dinner a little. Will she know that you're going to be there and I can get 2 birds with 1 stone? I just wanted to let the listeners Google that restaurant, look at their menu, look at the prices. It looks fantastic. Anyway, that's all I wanted to call for, bro.
Thank you, and I hope you can get down there tomorrow with your wife. I'd love to meet you. Thanks, Kurt.
I'd love to meet you too, sir.
All right, take care. Appreciate that. How about that, huh? Love it. Mike Pereira, Grant's Rants. 3rd hour of the show. All ahead. Fox Sports, Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic, heavy rush hour delays throughout all of Sacramento. Still dealing with a couple of problems. Got ramp restrictions, I-80 eastbound at Marysville Boulevard. Give yourself a couple of extra minutes to work your way through there. Also, some heavy rush hour delays throughout I-5, anywhere from Del Paso Road as you make your way down to the 50 interchange. 99 northbound at Fruit Ridge Road. Got an earlier accident off to the shoulder, and that is causing some heavy delays anywhere from Mack Road up there. I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
For more than 4 decades, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been trusted by home and business owners for their professional expertise in heating, air conditioning, and solar energy. Your home is your castle, and at Sierra Pacific, we thank you for 40 great years of trusting us to protect your castle. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort, solar, heating, and air. SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. For years, the NFL has been tinkering with the kickoff, trying to strike a balance between safety and excitement. The problem was, most changes leaned so far towards safety that the play all but disappeared. Kickoffs became routine touchbacks. But after just 1 week of this season, it looks like the league may have finally landed on the right solution. With the touchbacks now bringing the ball out to the 35, special team units now have a real incentive to let their opponent bring the ball back. The fans are already seeing a difference. Week 1, just over 75% of kickoffs were returned. Compare that to last season when the number was below 33%. That's not just a small bump. That's a massive change. Suddenly, field position swings, coverage units matter again, and coaches have to think twice before booting it out of the end zone. If the trend continues, the NFL has done something rare. Revived a play that was nearly extinct and made every kickoff worth watching again. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
As a scientist, I can tell you that Sundays are only 24 hours long. But with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV, you get every game every Sunday all in one place. That's upwards of 30 hours of NFL in one day. How can there be 30 hours in 24 hours, you ask? I have a theory. Magic. New users get NFL Sunday Ticket for 8 payments of $34.50 per month. Sign up at NFLSundayTicket.com. Local and national games on YouTube TV. NFL Sunday Ticket for out-of-market games excludes digital-only games and commercial use. Terms and embargoes apply. Availability varies.
New car prices going up? You're not imagining it. That shiny new ride just got even more expensive, making it tougher than ever to justify trading in. But here's the good news. Maaco can make your current car look and feel new again for a fraction of the cost. From fresh paint to light bodywork, we help you get more out of what you already own and love. Book your free estimate online or visit your nearest Maaco today. Free estimates, friendly service, fast turnaround. Better get Maaco.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Grant's back, and here to win. It's the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Radio Sacramento. Now, Grant Napear.
Hour number 3. Thank you very much for tuning in, whether you are watching the stream on YouTube or X or the Fox Sports KSAC app. So happy to have you here. Mike Pereira, known him for a long time. Rules analyst, NFL college, the NFL on Fox. Just a phenomenal person. Love talking to him, and he's nice enough to join us right here on this great radio station that I am now a part of, and I'm pumped. Mike, how are you?
I am great, and it's so happy to have you here, my friend. Just great.
Mike, I mean, that means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. And I know that you were in a situation where you couldn't do much for a while with your health, but I read that you're now back playing golf, so everything's good, huh?
85 today.
Wow.
Second time I've broken 90 since the surgery that I had a year and 3/4 ago, actually. And so I'm a lucky man. I mean, I went through a stage that I thought I would never really walk again. And I'm not only playing golf 18 holes, but walking 18 holes
Good for you.
periodically. So, yep, got my life back.
That's great. How's Battlefields to Ball Fields going?
Really doing great, and just had a lunch today about how we're going to expand a little bit and have more golf tournaments around the country. We had one this summer in Oregon. We have one in November here, and Battlefields to Ball Fields. That those that don't know, we started a foundation actually in 2017, and we give scholarships to veterans to become sports officials in their communities. There's such a shortage of sports officials around the country, having to do a lot with sportsmanship and all the negativity that goes with it. But we have given over 2,000 scholarships since 2017 to get these veterans on a team again, working again, being involved in their communities again, making them role models again, as they should be. We basically pay all the costs to become a sports official. And it's not just football. I mean, it's really every sport. And it's been the old, I know it's a cliche, kind of, right? Labor of love, but it's a labor of love for me. And it's something I'll keep on doing until the day I just can't do it anymore.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's going to be a ways away.
You know, Mike,
thank you.
I'm so happy that you started that. And I'm also happy that you talk about the issues facing officials that are thinking about this as a career. And my kids are now grown, so I'm not really going to youth sports anymore. But I got to tell you, Mike, I mean, rarely does a day or a week go by when I'm not reading a horrific scene at one of our local ball fields, football, baseball, basketball courts, where, parents have to be ejected and there's, just obscenities being shouted down from the stands at officials. We're talking about youth sports. I just don't understand that. It's such a shame, Mike.
And I think that people don't understand that, the game is in danger. I mean, you can not like officials, you can disagree with officials, but the fact is they have to be there. There has to be a game. And we are now on the amateur level that really less than 30% of the people that sign up to officiate continue to officiate past a year because they get so frustrated with the abuse that goes along with the lack of money, really. I mean, I tell these officials that go out there, first year officials, just realize one thing, the people that yell the loudest know the least. and also, and they're the ones that don't have the guts to put their ass on the line and do something like this. So you have to take pride in what you're doing, but the numbers are dwindling so fast that, you're looking at high school football being played on Fridays and Saturdays because there's not enough officials to play them all on Friday. It's when you get into it and look at it, it's just you wish, and there's a minority of these people that scream like that, but the parents are the number one group. It's not the players, it's not the coaches, it's not even the administrators, but it's really the parents, because you put a person out there that says, I want to give something back to my community. I want to help out. I want to help address the issue. And so you put them on the youth level where they know the least. So they're starting out when they know the least and they're getting the most abuse. And, I'm like you, I don't get it. I mean, this is youth level. And to me, it's just ludicrous. And at some point, people are going to have to see the light. And, and I don't know what the answer is, but it's a problem.
Mike Pereira, our guest here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Mike, it's pretty amazing when you look back at your career, former official, later vice president of officiating for the NFL, and then you're in the booth at the freaking Super Bowl calling the game next to the announcers. I mean, Mike, seriously, it's just been, you've had an unbelievable journey.
It's, and it's kind of one of these journeys that you never dreamt was ever going to be like this. I mean, when I was going to college at Santa Clara, I never thought about officiating, even starting out in college in my freshman and sophomore years. Officiating? Are you kidding me? No, I don't want to do that. When they came to me and asked me if I wanted to do Pop Warner football in East Palo Alto, I said, no, I don't want to do that. I said, I have no desire to do that. They said, well, your dad's done it. I said, well, maybe that's why I don't want to do it, because I saw him get yelled at. But then they dangled $30 ahead of me. $30, put cash in front of me for working 3 youth games on a Sunday. And, the $30 is what turned the trick. But, to think where my career has gone, I mean, I've really been involved in officiating in some way, shape, or form for 54 years now, whether it was on the field or administrative, or now the media side with Fox. And the job that I had with the league as the head of officiating was clearly the toughest job I ever had. But in the end, I wouldn't change a day of it. It was such a challenge, and to be involved with the game and some of the great people that are involved in the game. Me, a little guy from Stockton, California, that was born and raised in Stockton, California, that never played a down of football in his life.
Wow.
For me to end up, doing what I've done is really incredible. And I'm near the end. I mean, listen, I'm 75 years old, trying to keep up with these youngsters, that are some of the, rules analysts now. But so I'm getting near the end. Yeah. But when it is all said and done, I will look back at it with such fond memories.
Mike, it's pretty amazing that Fox had the foresight to say, okay, let's try this. Let's have Mike Pereira be our guy. And now everyone's doing it. You can't watch a game now on a network without a rules analyst. But you were the pioneer. You were the first one to do it. There has to be a real sense of pride in that.
Yeah, and when they reached out to me when I announced that I was retiring from the NFL a year in advance. I mean, I had one more year left when my retirement was announced. But when they reached out to me, I mean, I remember David Hill said, "You're not retiring. We're going to bring you on. We don't know what the hell we're going to do with you, but we're gonna bring you on." He said, a follow-up was, well, maybe it's on the digital side, and maybe we'll have you do a digital rule book, and to where people can come online and ask you questions and use the digital rule book. And I remember my first day, the first weekend that I had games with Fox, the very first weekend, they said, let's put a camera in front of them just in case something happens, and where we need an explanation of the rule. And then up pops week 1, Chicago Bears and Detroit Lions, and Calvin Johnson in the end zone. Yeah. And it was one of the plays that I don't like to see, because he catches the ball in the end zone, goes to the ground. One official says touchdown, the other one says incomplete. And I'm looking at that going, I wonder if they're going to want me on camera for this. I almost was going, I hope not. And then they go with incomplete pass. And then, Gene Steratore, bless his heart, is under the hood. And Brian Billick and Tom Brenneman were calling the game. And so they bring me in. And I'm like, really? I'm sweating bullets. And they go, well, what do you think? And I go, well, the rule, I'm trying to pin everything on the rules. The rule says that, when you go to the ground, you have to hold on to the ball when you hit the ground. And Billick's going, yeah, but he got 2 feet down on the knee, and then the ball came loose. And I'm going, I don't know if it's a catch or it's incomplete. I mean,
nobody did.
And I just keep going to the rule. And finally, Billick said, well, what are they going to do? And so I finally just said, well, based on the rule, I think they're going to leave it as incomplete. And then Steratore comes out from under the hood and says, after reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands, the pass is incomplete. I fall off my chair practically.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to change it after I said they weren't, and then I'm going to be fired in week 1. And and then the next day I get calls from the league from the NFL saying, this is the greatest thing in the world. You took the heat off the officials and put it on the rule. And this is great. This is unbelievable. And then, the following week, they made a pass interference call that I didn't like. And so I had the camera now. And I went on and said, I don't like the call, for this reason. And then the league called me and said, you're a jerk. I went from a hero in the eyes of the league. And 1 week, I was an idiot after that.
Mike,
but no, it's been such a great run.
Mike, there are a lot of different opinions as it pertains to instant replay. You know that. But I think the one thing that most fans really like is the referee assist. Speeds up. And you know what? I use the term common sense. It's common sense. Everyone knows that the call was incorrect or make the correct call, and it only takes a couple seconds. I love that.
Yeah, and we're starting to see that more in college now too, which is great. Anything to shorten college games is terrific, and we're seeing that. And you're seeing them lean more and more to that. And I think we had a fascinating play this weekend in one of the NFL games, but they called roughing the passer for a hit to the quarterback's head, and they called a hit on a defensive receiver for contact of the head or neck area. And all in one swoop, they looked at both hits and they picked up the flag with the replay assist for the hit on the defenseless player. And they stayed with the roughing the passer because there was helmet to helmet contact. But all of it was done very quickly, very quickly. And I think that's the point. And now, that there's still, to me, one more step to go, because all they're doing with replay assist, they're able to pick up a flag that's thrown. So if there is a face mask that's called, and it's not a face mask, it's a grab of the jersey, they can take it off. But if a face mask is not called and it's clearly a face mask, you can't add it. And that was kind of my complaint about this area of getting involved with the replay assist. Last year, the big problems were not the ones that were called, it's the ones that weren't called. And they were so obvious that replay could have put them on very, very quickly. But they're taking steps in that direction. And so the more and more I think they get comfortable with that, the more they'll get involved, which I'm fine with, as long as they can do it quickly, as long as it doesn't become a 3-minute issue to add a penalty onto a play. They do it in some situations now. A quarterback beyond the line, when he passes the ball, replay can actually add that. 12 players on the field, they can add that. But in these personal foul situations, they've been hesitant to do it. But I do think that it is coming.
Mike Pereira, the NFL on Fox. Mike, it seems to me that most fans, their biggest issue with the way the game is called has to deal with pass interference. Was it pass interference, not pass interference? And I get it. Do you have any suggestions? If you had a magic wand and you could do whatever you wanted to do with the game and the way it's officiated, is there anything you would do as it relates to pass interference?
Well, I think I would use that magic wand on a lottery last week and take my $1.8 billion and run. But if I have to use it for football, I have always been a proponent of the pass interference rule in college, the maximum 15-yard penalty.
Me too.
Look, I was a side judge in the league. That is the most difficult call in the world to make, because everything is moving. You're moving, the receiver's moving, the ball is moving. Is it enough? Not all contact is interference. Is it enough that it's significantly to hinder the receiver? It's brutal. And then you throw on the added element of pressure, and every official will say, "Oh, I'm not affected by the thought that flag I throw, could be a 40-yard penalty, could be a 40-yard mistake." I mean, nowhere else in the game do we have the potential for a 40-yard mistake, and it happens. And so you add another layer of pressure on the official. So to me, and I would ask the competition committee every year, would you think about, looking at the college rule, making it max 15? And they would say, there were a couple of people in the committee that were really adamant. We don't want to take away the deep vertical passing game. They'll start tackling receivers. And I would go, do you watch college football? If you're close enough to commit pass interference, you're trying to make a play. you're not reaching out and trying to tackle people. And I said, and I'll go one step further. If it is, because the Arena League, I think, did this. If it is an obvious tackle, then you can make it a spot foul if it's beyond 15 yards, if it's a non-football act. But no, they didn't want to get away from that deep vertical passing game. But you know, Grant, I was in the office for 12 years, and I evaluated play after play after play, week after week after week during the season. And there were many times where pass interference would get called 40 yards downfield, and you'd look at it and say, it's not a foul.
Right.
And so then you awarded the team 40 yards that they didn't deserve. So that would be my magic wand to go to the college pass interference rule.
Best line ever from you, Mike, when I asked you once how your golf game was, and you responded, I'm trying to get my swing to go from New York to LA through Chicago, but right now it's going through Houston. I'll never forget that.
Well,
Mike.
Right now, after the surgery, my swing can't reach coast to coast. I'm actually, my swing's totally in the Midwest somewhere. So
I love it. Hey, Mike, I mean this. I have so much respect for you. And anytime you need me to help you promote your foundation, you know where I'm at, and I'm happy to help you.
Well, thank you so much. And I would say to you, the mutual respect, and anytime you want me on your program, I will be here for you also.
Thank you, Mike. All the best. We'll talk soon. Be well.
Sounds good. See you.
See you. That's Mike Pereira. What a great man he is. So much respect for him. So much respect for him. Mike Pereira, the NFL on Fox. So with Mike, football is back, and so is your shot at big wins with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite quarterbacks, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. So you just go to your DraftKings Pick 6 app, like tomorrow. You look at the quarterback totals, right? Yards thrown. You're going to go more or less. It's really that easy. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KSAC. That's code KSAC. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call, ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Fox Sports traffic. We are very busy throughout the entire Sacramento area with rush hour delays. US 50 eastbound and westbound, pretty much from Watt Avenue as you make your way to top of the town freeway. You're dealing with one giant delay through there. I-5 northbound and southbound, also very heavy from top of the town freeway as you make your way down to about Q Street. So give yourself that extra time to get you through these heavy rush hour delays. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Traffic brought to you by Gabroods Electrical. Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, and always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues with Gabroods. GUBRUDS.com.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Hey, this is Siani Hartz with Fox Sports Radio Sacramento, here to tell you how to win A's tickets. Enter our giveaway by heading to foxsportsac.com and follow us on Instagram at FoxKSac for more info.
Again, and being able to play golf. Just a tremendous guy. So my thanks to Mike Lamb and Mike Pereira. Mike Lamb on in the 4 o'clock hour. And in the 5 o'clock hour, you just heard from Mike. Tomorrow, Bennett's West Side Grill in Rockland. Jerry Reynolds is going to be joining me during the 5 o'clock hour. And then we're going to stay out and watch the Thursday night football game with Washington and Green Bay. So I'm very much looking forward to that. If you want to call the show, we'll have open phone lines for a bit. Now's a great opportunity at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929 as I get you right up till 6 o'clock. And again, if you missed the first hour of the show, no problem. We'll replay it every night at 6 o'clock. We also began today. The show is being streamed on YouTube, so you can check that out. And you just go to the Fox Sports Radio Sacramento YouTube page, and you now have another option as the show is being streamed. All right, so we got all of that. Rhino, we're going to have a couple of other big announcements coming down the pike as it relates to podcasts, right? That's going to be, we don't know for sure, but it's very close to happening.
Yeah, it is. And now that it's on, the show is living on YouTube, you can go back and have a record of it. You can listen to it on demand at this point if you're following Fox Sports. But yes, we will be rolling that out soon. We are working with the entire Fox Sports Network, who is upgrading to a different program that we'll use for our podcast.
I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, buddy. We say hello to Pat in New York. What's up, Patrick?
Hey, Grant.
Hello. Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you quick. My earliest memory of them using officials on television was when Tom Brady was playing against the Raiders back in 2001.
Yeah, the Tuck rule.
Yes, and I remember Jim Nance was hosting the NFL Today after the game was over, and I don't know if he had Pereira on or one of the other main referees, but actually somebody came on the air and discussed the Tuck rule situation, and that was the earliest I remember an official being used on a major telecast.
How about that? I don't remember that, so you have a better memory than I do, but that was still to this day, it's a play that's still talked about in the history of the National Football League. It's debated even to this day.
Yeah. I just remember that was the first time that an official actually came on and discussed it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And now a new rule became of that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and now a whole industry, and now it's like the go-to thing,
Good job, Patrick. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even recall that. So you got a good memory. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Grant.
Yep. Bye-bye. All right, again, if you want to get in on the program, 916-779-0929. That's 779-0929. And again, you can follow us now, as Rhino said, on YouTube. Just got to go to the Fox Sports Sacramento YouTube page. And we got a lot of other good things going on. Tomorrow, I'm going to be out on remote, again, at Bennett's West Side Grill. Jerry Reynolds will be with me in the 5 o'clock hour. Chris Landry to talk both college and the NFL in the 4 o'clock hour. Chris Landry from LandryFootball.com. Friday, Rhino and I will have our 4 picks, and we'll also announce the winner of the $100 gift card to Bennett's on Friday, Rhino. So there's an individual that will be getting a nice $100 gift card on Friday.
$100 goes a long way. Like
yeah,
the
it's all
caller
good.
said earlier.
Yeah, it's good. So we'll announce the winner from last week, and then we'll do it again on Friday to wrap up this week. Been a good week so far. Charles Barkley, can't really go wrong with Charles. Great to have him on. Tim Brown yesterday. Sean Salisbury, Mike Lamb, Mike Pereira. Love it. Jerry Reynolds tomorrow. Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com. And on Friday, I think you're going to love this segment I'm going to have with Doug Adler. What a story, Doug Adler. And we talk about cancel culture in the world of sports. Doug Adler would be Exhibit A. Exhibit A. And he'll be on with me Friday. And I will tell you, his story is riveting. It's riveting. Just incredible what happened to him. Seriously. So he'll be on Friday in addition to our picks and getting ready. We'll certainly spend a lot of the first hour talking about tomorrow's Thursday night game at Lambeau with Washington and Green Bay. Have you done your picks yet on the that we do on our podcast for tomorrow? Who'd you pick? Did you do it yet?
I have not done it yet.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of which, you need to sign up.
I already did it.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
I got 10 right last week.
Okay.
And I would have had, the Baltimore screwed me, but I did it last week, and I just did my picks this morning.
Okay.
What do you mean I have to sign up?
I've been getting emails. The Napes wasn't signed up.
I'm under a different sign. I think I'm under like Fox Sports Sacramento or something.
There you go. Everybody listening, that's your answer.
Yeah.
Right there.
I'll tell you right now what it is. I don't remember. I do these things, Rhino. Like me, I do these things and I don't even know what my name is or anything. Like I just do it to. All right, I'll tell you what my name is. All right, here we go. So I am under. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right, I'm waiting for it to load. Let's see what my name is. Yeah, I'm on Fox Sports KSAC. If you don't like that, it's under Fox Sports KSAC.
You hear that, Peter Anderson? There it is, buddy.
Yeah, last week I got a total of last week I was 9-6 against the number.
That's pretty good.
That's okay?
Really good. Yeah. Anything over 500 against the number.
Yeah, I was 9-6.
The books took a really big hit.
Really?
This past week, one of the bigger hits.
Any particular game?
A lot of the games went over rather than under.
Oh.
And a lot of chalk ended up winning. So that last game, Baltimore and Buffalo, they thought it was going to be a little bit more low scoring.
So that game cost me. I would have had a great week. I would have been 10-5 had it not been for the ending of that Baltimore game. But
exactly,
I picked Seattle, and I thought I was going to win that when they had the ball at the 10-yard line, and I had Baltimore. And when the fourth quarter began, I'm like, well, I got this game in the bag. So 9-6 is okay.
9-6 is really good.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
The bookmakers are usually like 63 to 65%.
All right. All right.
Maybe you'll have an alternate stream of business. 1-800-NAPES picks.
Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely. I'm okay for it. But so tomorrow, just so you know, I picked Green Bay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will probably be going Green Bay as well. We do have some NBA news.
Yes.
That we have not talked about. The NBA has announced that approximate fouls grant will now be determined by the replay center rather than the referees on the court.
I don't understand what is an approximate foul.
That is when you challenge a foul that may have been when the ball goes out of bounds. They can look at, if the ball goes out of bounds and you think your player was fouled or wasn't fouled, that can be looked at.
Oh, good. I like that because I think there's been a lot of disputes in recent memory on huge calls, but it wasn't reviewable. So that's good.
Yep.
So that will not be made by the officials. It will be made back in Secaucus, New Jersey.
That will be coming from Secaucus. Also, you're going to love this one. The NBA Cup starting next season will only have a championship game in Vegas. The rest of the games will be played on home courts.
Who cares? I hate that cup.
Right.
It's a gimmick. It's just a gimmick. No one cares about that. It's a gimmick. The players that win and get the $500,000 care about it, but nobody cares about that.
Yep.
The NBA Cup's a joke. It's a joke.
I'm
Seriously,
with you.
It's a joke.
And
it's
then
a gimmick.
The floors, Grant. It's unwatchable. Some of those floors. Some are okay. Some are bad.
It's a gimmick. We talk basketball all the time on our podcast. And by the way, for those that are listening, Ryan and I do a podcast after all the Kings games, post-game shows. We do a lot of other programming, and so you can check out my YouTube channel if you don't like that. But I run into very few people that say they like the NBA Cup. They don't care.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Adam Silver, during a press conference today, said fans who can't afford streaming services to watch the NBA games can still watch free highlights calling the NBA a, quote, highlight sport, end quote.
I don't quite understand that at all. That doesn't make sense to me. So you can watch the highlights?
Saying if you cannot afford.
Right. So if you can't afford to buy a game, whatever the streaming is.
You can catch the highlights on social media.
Yeah, but I can catch the highlight. Everyone already knows that.
Right.
You already know you can catch the highlights on various websites. You can go to TikTok.
Yep.
You can go to YouTube. You can go to X. I mean, we already know that, Adam.
So that was Adam's take on, paywalls as the NBA moves forward and having some games on Peacock and Amazon.
I think it's going to take fans quite a while to figure out where the games are on what network on what nights because it's different every night. There's a lot of choices now.
Very true. And on the flip side, let's be fair, you do have games on NBC, which is network TV, free. So,
yes.
But yeah, finding where the games are, the amount of subscriptions that you need to have, that's going to be tricky. You're spot on.
Speaking of games, I don't know if you saw this or not, but we talk about the NFL being the king of sports in America, right?
Right.
The audience for week 1 on the networks that covered the NFL went through the freaking roof. That the NFL is even getting bigger than it was, which is pretty amazing because it's already, I mean, think about Christmas Day. The NFL blows away the NBA games on Christmas Day.
Grant, they had 8 divisional games in opening week.
It's great.
And I hope the NFL is not pointing at the Brazil game per se or, the Thursday night game that the season opens up on. You had 8 divisional games, rivalries, Seattle, San Francisco, etc.
I know you didn't like that. I personally did like it. I like the divisional games to kick off this season. I have no problem with that at all.
I thought that was a little bit of an underlying reason you saw teams play their starters a little bit more this preseason, certain teams.
Well, I like it. I don't like, this, I don't like divisional games being played twice in a span of 3 weeks,
Correct.
Which is going to happen too many times this year with teams. I don't like that.
Correct. The Niners have a span coming up, 4 games in 23 days, Grant.
How about that? Yeah. And you're right about what you said about Adam Silver. Quote, this is very much a highlights-based sport. Well, I think that's true of all sports, to be honest with you. I mean, the NFL is a sport based on highlights. You're not going to show a 3rd and 3 in the second quarter from the 45-yard line. I mean, it's all about highlights. Sports is about highlights.
Yeah, and Adam Silver's been trying to sell this idea that the NBA is a lifestyle brand. I'm not sure how to wrap my arms around that.
I miss David Stern every day. I really do. He was such a phenomenal commissioner with a backbone. This commissioner has no backbone. I mean, some of the things that have gone on in the league is just ridiculous. And, what he cares about is making money for the owners, and I got to give him credit. He's done a great job with that. This TV deal is something that the NBA owners love because they're getting even richer and the values of their team continue to go up, not down. So, I mean, I get that. I get Adam Silver is a businessman, and that's what he needs to do, but he's just got no backbone. He's he's just got no backbone. I don't know. David Stern wouldn't allow a lot of these things that have been going on in the league. He just would not allow it. It just would not happen.
Well, Adam stepped onto the stage and had a awful, disgusting situation that was a no-brainer. Getting rid of Donald Sterling. He'll have an opportunity with this Kawhi investigation, which the NBA said they will look into. If there is anything there substantial, see how he handles it. That will be another test.
Well, as you said, it was a no-brainer. He didn't have a choice with Donald Sterling because the players weren't going to play and the sponsors weren't going to sponsor the Clippers. So that was, and again, he did the right thing, but it wasn't exactly a hard decision because the players weren't going to play. They weren't going to take the court, and the sponsor said, we're done sponsoring the Clippers if he remains the owner of the team.
Yeah, and he's really dragging his feet to a degree on domestic expansion. They're talking a lot more about globally expanding the game, having an NBA Europe. But to your point about the owners and the TV deal, the owners aren't going to be quick to agree to having 2 more teams in the league because that's 2 pieces of the pie that's going to go somewhere else on that TV deal.
I think that when you look at the TV contract, the reason why expansion to me is dragging its feet is the owners split that TV pie in 30 pieces.
Right.
They don't want to have to split it in 32 pieces. Now, there is an expansion fee that goes to the league that is also split evenly among the owners, but I don't think it makes up for how much the TV deal is. So I think that's an issue.
I think that's the bigger issue. It's not dilution of the product. I think there's enough good, 1%er basketball players in this world to fill out 2 rosters.
Well, all interesting topics. All right.
No doubt.
All interesting topics. So Brian Bennett was texting me earlier because I'm meeting him for dinner tonight, and he put halibut down, and I'm like, I want the prime New York, but I don't know if he's already planned the halibut, and so if I'm okay with the halibut, I don't want to but I mean, I was in the mood for New York tonight.
I mean, Brian's a guy that'll usually cater to you, Napes.
No, I don't want to be catered to. I mean, I don't want to be a problem child.
But he caters to everybody. You're not anybody special.
All right.
He treats every customer like Napes. That's why so many people love going in there.
All right, we'll see.
Halibut's good, though. I like halibut.
I did have the halibut last week. It's excellent.
Yeah.
But I have my mind set on the New York.
I mean, once you get your mindset on that,
I know.
Kind of hard to come off.
I know. So we'll see. Maybe I'll let you know tomorrow. But I always like going out to Bennett's and looking forward to my dinner tonight. And I'll be listening to the first hour of the show as I'm on my way to Bennett's each and every day, Monday through Friday. If you missed the first hour, if you want to listen to it again, it's on right here on Fox Sports Sacramento from 6 to 7. Also, we began streaming today on YouTube, so you can check that out on the Fox Sports Radio Sacramento YouTube page, X, and everything else. And we're rolling right along here. All right. Brian said, yes, of course you're having a steak. I got to eat halibut. I'm like, beautiful. I love it. All right. Final segment when we come back right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Fox Sports traffic, taking one final look at the roadways. Still heavy rush hour delays throughout the entire area. Working a disabled vehicle, US 50 westbound at Stockton Boulevard. Give yourself a couple of extra minutes. Shoulders blocked off there, but we already had heavy rush hour delays on US 50 westbound anywhere from Howe Avenue as you make your way out to the top of the town freeway. I-5 northbound and southbound still very sluggish anywhere from Del Paso Road as you make your way down to about Sutterville Road. With twice an hour traffic, I'm Andy Bass for Fox Sports Sacramento.
Downtown Ford of Sacramento has been in business since 1911. And as the oldest Ford dealership in California, we've provided cars and trucks for generations of Sacramento families. And you may not know it, but Downtown Ford provides the emergency vehicles for just about every law enforcement agency in the Sacramento region. Providing vehicles for emergency responders is a tradition of service we're truly proud of. And today, Downtown Ford has expanded to include their Howe Avenue location. So with 2 Ford stores and literally acres of new and certified pre-owned vehicles in stock, we definitely have the Ford that you've been dreaming of. And if you're not quite ready to get into the brand new Ford of your dreams, we probably have a certified pre-owned version of the same vehicle for substantially less. If the open road is calling you, get to Downtown Ford Sacramento. DowntownFordSacramento.com.
So many things big and little make you uniquely you. Your hobbies, dreams, careers, family, and more. Addiction to drugs, including opioids and stimulants, can strip these away from you. Recover your life. Choose treatment for drug addiction and get back to what matters most. Find a provider and proven treatment option that's right for you. At ChooseChangeCA.org.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether
Number 23, Wayman Tisdale. All right, final segment of the show. Love talking to Mike Lamb in the 4 o'clock hour. Mike Pereira this hour. Again, taking the show on the road. It'll be our first remote tomorrow out at Bennett's Westside Grill. Unfortunately, Rhino will be back at the station. So you want me to bring you any food, buddy, or are you going to be okay?
I'll be okay. I got my fill today.
Yeah.
I got my fill today.
Yeah, that was a nice job at the Fair Oaks and Howe location in Sacramento.
Stunning shrimp cocktail. Stunning.
Yeah, look good.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you enjoy. You got to send me a picture, though,
of
the free hot dog bar that Brian's putting together.
Absolutely. I will. Yes. Jerry, that's right up Jerry's alley. Jerry loves the free and, free for Jerry and hot dogs. He's a pretty simple guy,
If it's free, it's me. That's what Jerry says.
Yeah. So that will be tomorrow from 3 to 6. And then Friday we'll wrap up the week. Can't believe this is the week. Second week already. We got a football game tomorrow with Green Bay Washington at Green Bay. That should be a dandy. I think that's going to be a heck of a game.
It will. Cody on the YouTube chat is asking if you think Daniel Jones takes down the Broncos this weekend in Indianapolis.
I do not. I think the Denver defense, I wasn't that impressed with Denver in their win against Tennessee. Cody thought it would be easy before the game was played, and I said, Cody, there really are no easy games in the NFL, although the Colts looked like they had an easy game against Miami. But I didn't like the way Denver played. I thought they were very average on Sunday. I didn't like Sean Payton's decision-making on fourth downs. I thought it was stupid, and they can't do that this week at Indianapolis. I think it will be a pretty close game, but I picked Denver to win. I just think their defense will fluster Daniel Jones enough, maybe get a turnover or two. But I don't know if you watched the Denver game against Tennessee, but I got to tell you, I was not that impressed. I really wasn't. I was not that impressed.
I did not. I heard Bo Nix had a little bit of a rough go. Do you think that bleeds over this week?
No, I don't really pay attention to that much in week one because, Rhino, a lot of these guys don't play enough in the preseason. So it takes a game or two to really get rolling. But I got to tell you, I thought Daniel Jones, he was excellent. Think about what Daniel Jones did in that game against Miami. He was tremendous.
You think Quentin Nelson was just like the apple of his eye when he saw him in front of him?
How about that? Right? Yeah.
Big difference.
But, back to what Cody was saying, Cody's a big Broncos fan. And I'm not as high on Denver as everyone else is. Like, I think people are anointing them as a, very good team too soon. I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're a very good team. I think they're a good team. Maybe I'll change my opinion in a week or two. I know that a lot of people are talking about their defense, and their defense was very good, but they're playing, Cam Ward, his first game in the NFL. They didn't move the ball very well offensively. Again, the Denver defense is the real deal. I do like their defense. I think they're one of the very top defenses in football. We'll see. This is going to be an interesting game. I did pick Denver, though, in my pool.
I think the expectations in Denver are a little bit, they're not through the roof, but they're a little bit higher because they overachieved last year.
Well, and so what happened last year? Let's go back. Bo Nix was not your starting quarterback. And a lot of people, because they had Russell Wilson, were surprised when the Denver Broncos used their draft pick on Bo Nix.
Right.
There were a lot of people that raised their eyebrows.
Yep.
And then what happened was Wilson was terrible. And so they insert Bo Nix in, and he struggled big time for a couple games. But then he found himself and became one of the top stories in the NFL last year. And it's really the reason why, in addition to the defense, that so many people are very high on Denver this year because of how well Nix played in the second or in the latter part of last year. And so I make the segue to the Giants, same quarterback, Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Eli Manning was a backup to Kurt Warner.
Right.
And in his rookie year, got thrown in, was terrible for a couple games, then got going. My issue with Denver last year and the Giants this year is Denver's offensive line was much better than the Giants' offensive line. Andrew Thomas did not practice again today. He's their outstanding left tackle. So I don't know how much I can put on Wilson, but I do know the New York market. Brian Dable's coaching for his future. It may not be that long before Jackson Dart's quarterback, the same way Denver went to Bo Nix last year in relief of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, before the season started, it seemed like the writing was on the wall. I mean, how long were you going to wait unless Russ was...
Yeah, I mean, that really go 2 years ago because, Russ last year was with Pittsburgh. So I'm going back 2 seasons ago where he was coming over from Seattle. The reason why I'm bringing this up, you watch Seattle every game, and Wilson had a great career. And then he goes to Denver, and 2 years ago was terrible. Then last year he ends up in Pittsburgh, right? Right?
Yeah.
And so when Nix came in to replace the starter last year, he was not good for the first couple of weeks, and then he got going.
Yeah, and sometimes that's what it takes. And you'd think that maybe Russ could get it going as well, a second chance. I remember specific play where Russ fumbled. It's like, dive on the ball, and he just sat there on his knees. It goes back to with Seattle, it's a very difficult offense for a quarterback to get in to the zone with because you're going from under the center. You're not doing a ton of shotgun. And Russ had the ability to escape and create, but he also still, Grant, I mean, if you give him a little protection, he can throw a good deep ball. He drops it from the clouds.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I don't think there's any doubt. But, I moved him up a year because, I got to think about Wilson and Fields playing last year, together. But why can't Jackson Dart be this year's Bo Nix?
It's the offensive line, right?
Yeah.
Well, what would it say if he succeeds with an offensive line that's not blocking well? I think it's mobility, too. Russ is not that Russ anymore. Russell Wilson from the Seahawks ain't walking through that door of MetLife Stadium. Jackson Dart probably gives you a little bit better of an option of getting out of the pocket.
Are you a Bo Nix fan? Do you think he's got a really bright future?
I think he has a solid future. I would like Sean Payton to use his legs a little bit more. I think when you get that dual threat going, that is, he's got the build to do it. He's got enough quickness. He has the IQ. I think that will open things up a little bit more for Denver, especially if they're running the ball well.
Yeah, and again, I'm moving everything up by a year. I'm doing all this off the top of my head. I'm speeding everything up by a year, but I'm going back to Nix and when he got the job and how effective he was after a couple bad games. And Eli Manning was very bad when he took over for Kurt Warner for a couple of games.
I wasn't in San Diego Monday Night Football.
I can't remember his first game. Eli?
I was at the Monday Night Football game in San Diego. I think it was one of his first ones.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe wrong there.
All right.
But Grant, I think it's about getting that timing down. Because even if you're a second string quarterback, you're not always taking the reps with the ones.
Yeah.
And you're not always going against the ones on defense. So I think the head is what you look at the most. You got a good head on your shoulders, and what are you doing in that film room?
Well, last year, again, when he came in to start last year, he ended up with 29 touchdowns and 12 interceptions and threw for almost 4,000 yards. That was darn impressive.
Yeah. We watch, one camera angle that we rarely see is from behind the quarterback, but sometimes when you do, even the windows in college to squeeze the ball through are tiny. They shrink exponentially in the NFL. I've got to think that's a major adjustment for a guy like Bo Nix.
Well, again, last year I look at what he did, and I think he started every game last year.
Yeah, Robert says he started 17 games.
Okay, I don't think he did come in the middle of the season. I think he started on opening day,
Yeah, he won the job.
He won the job.
He won the job.
Right, because they moved Wilson to Pittsburgh, and so,
Yep.
But again, it wasn't a pretty start, but it was a pretty finish. He did a great job I think the last 10 games in particular, he really stood out.
Solid control over that offense.
Yep. All right, so you're going to do your picks tonight. Don't forget. Or tomorrow.
I will get those in for tomorrow. Everybody else, get your picks in too. We will announce the winner of the $100 Bennett's gift card on Friday when we do our Friday 4 pick.
Yep. And I'm really looking forward to our podcast. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be going heavy duty with the Kings, not only here on Fox Sports Sacramento, but on our podcast. And for those of you that are new and don't know Ryan and yours truly, we've been doing many, 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 many shows on YouTube and X on If You Don't Like That with Grant Napear as it pertains to the Kings, and we're going to be doing it again this year. We're going to be doing 82 post-game shows, so we're going to be busy. We're going to be working here. We're going to be working on our podcast, and we wouldn't have it any other way because we have a loyal audience, and we want to deliver for you. We delivered today. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with Mike Lamb, with Mike Pereira from the NFL on Fox tomorrow, taking my show on the road to Bennett's West Side Grill. We're going to talk football with Chris Landry from LandryFootball.com at 4 o'clock, and then Jerry Reynolds joins me for the 5 o'clock hour, and then we'll be out there for the Thursday night game with Washington at Green Bay. For Rhino, it's Grant Napear saying thanks very much. Appreciate you being with us here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Make it a good evening, and don't forget, if you missed hour number 1, it's coming on next right here. Again, Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye.
For more than 4 decades, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort has been trusted by home and business owners for their professional expertise in heating, air conditioning, and